You've seen the pictures. They've been coming out of Iran with monotonous, tragic reality. Monotony on a daily basis. In Iran, a 22-year-old Mahsa Amini was thrashed and allegedly killed by the hijab police because a sliver of her hair was showing under a veil. Just yesterday, Hadith Najafi was killed for supporting Mahsa. What's the connection? Why are we talking about Iran? And what has Iran got to do with what's happening in our country? Well, viewers, today your channel has learnt that saying no to wearing the veil, the burqa or hijab can have fatal consequences even in India. Viewers, we are told constantly that in India you have the freedom to do as you please. If you are a Muslim woman, you can choose to wear what you want to. No one is going to intimidate you. No one is going to force you. No one is going to make you pay for your life like Mahsa Amini had to follow an injunction. This, viewers, is being repeated ad nauseum in the Supreme Court by some of the best legal minds this country has to offer in order to get the Supreme Court to overturn a progressive judgment by the Karnataka High Court on the hijab. Indeed, viewers, here in India, women are not immune from the kind of persecution that Mahsa Amini has had to face in Iran. A 23-year-old Rupali, who is also known by the name Zara, had her throat slit for refusing to wear a burqa. The Mumbai police's FIR makes for tragic reading. Rupali loved her husband, adopted the name Zara, but realized that even that wasn't enough. Now, how has this happened? Aren't we being told by glib lawyers like Dushyant Dave that are challenging the Karnataka High Court's progressive order on hijab that the veil is not just a symbol of dignity, but women in India reserve the right to choose to wear it or not? This was underlined by Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, the Congress scion of Ladki Hoon, Lad Sakti Hoon fame, who told us that in India you can wear a burqa or a bikini as you please, don't worry. Viewers, the PFI is one of those that has leaned on certain members of our community, given them the courage, the support to challenge in the Supreme Court the progressive Karnataka High Court's order, saying that in our classrooms, in government-run institutions, you can't wear the hijab. But the PFI says that in India, you cannot snatch away a person's religious freedoms. The PFI says, just like some other lawyers have argued, that the hijab and the burqa are in fact essential features of Islam. Yes, viewers, this is what has been said. And even though in our country this, according to them, is true, women will still retain the right to choose to wear the burqa, the hijab or not. But viewers, what they didn't tell you was Rupali's story and hundreds of other women like her who clearly didn't have a choice. Here is more about Rupali's story. Rupali was murdered by her husband for allegedly refusing to wear a burqa. As per her mother and sisters, her husband of 3 years, Iqbal Sheikh, used to thrash her repeatedly for her defiance. Yesterday, after a heated argument, he dragged her outside and allegedly stabbed her and eventually slit her throat. That's what the police are claiming. That's what Rupali's family is telling us. She paid with her life for exercising her right to choose, viewers. It's as simple as that. Times Now visits the site of this grotesque crime against not just the Constitution, but also, of course, against the personal rights of Rupali. All of this happened in Chembur, and we spoke to eyewitnesses. Here's the report.
मैंने देखी कि बॉडी में ऐसे ही पड़ी थी एकदम, जैसा मैं नजदीक जाके देखी तो बॉडी एकदम अलग ही मतलब पोजीशन में थी, ऐसा फैला, पैर पूरा ऐसा था और ऐसी वो पड़ी थी, पूरा चेहरा ऐसा और जीभ बाहर थी और खून खून था और गले में ऐसा दुपट्टा लपटा हुआ था।
मुंबई के चेंबूर इलाके में जिस 20 वर्ष की युवती की हत्या हुई है उसी स्पॉट पर फिलहाल हम मौजूद हैं। आपको तस्वीरों के जरिए बता दें कि ये एक छोटी सी गली आप देख पा रहे हैं और इसमें ये वो खून के धब्बे हैं जो कि आपको इस एक्सक्लूसिव ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट में हम दिखा रहे हैं। साफ तौर पर आपको बता दें कि सामने वाली गली से नवरात्रि के चलते देवी की मूर्ति पास हो रही थी जहां पे ढोल ताशे बज रहे थे और उसी बीच में एक लड़की जो अपनी जान बचाने के लिए फिलहाल दौड़ रही थी इसी गली में, उसकी मौत होती है जिसको गला रेंद कर उसकी हत्या कर दी जाती है और इस निर्मम हत्या को कोई और नहीं बल्कि उसी युवती का जो पति है वो अंजाम देता है। क्या देखा आपने? लड़की की जो लाश थी वो किस अवस्था में थी?
गिरी पड़ी थी यहाँ पे, उसका खून, उसका ब्लड वगैरह पूरा पड़ा हुआ था। हाँ,
साफ तौर पर ये गवाही दे रहे हैं कि इन्हीं नालों से जो है वो खून के धब्बे बहते हुए आगे बढ़े हैं। हालांकि पुलिस अभी भी जांच कर रही है कि वाकई में वजह क्या है।
Viewers, this is not a report from Tehran, this is a report from Tilak Nagar. The police officer there, the inspector Vilas Rathod, told Times Now, your channel, that around 10 p.m. on September 26, the man identified as Iqbal Muhammad Sheikh killed his wife by slitting her throat and injuring her hands with a knife. As per the complainant, the accused and his family members used to pressurize her to follow Islamic traditions and wear clothes that Muslim women ought to wear by religious injunction. However, a family dispute started after the woman refused to do so. They were staying separately for the last few months, says Vilas Rathod, the inspector. However, they used to speak over the phone and used to quarrel and bicker. On Monday, when the couple was speaking over the phone, the woman asked the accused for a divorce, but the latter refused. The man then asked for the custody of their son, which the woman opposed, and this led to the final argument between them, which, viewers, caused this grotesque killing. Here are Rupali's sisters speaking to your channel, speaking to Times Now, viewers.
परिवार क्या क्या मांग करता था उनसे?
कि मतलब हमारे कास्ट में ये तो हमारे कास्ट है, बोल मराठी मत बोल, हिंदी बोल, ये सब बोल, हमारे जात का बुर्का पहन, ऐसा रहे वैसा रहे, बहुत टॉर्चर करते थे।
एक चीज ये कि आपने भी बताया कि मुसलमान कल्चर फॉलो करने के लिए परिवार उनके ऊपर दबाव डालता था। आपकी बहन बिल्कुल फॉलो नहीं करती थी?
नहीं करती थी। कैसे करेगी मैम? हमारे कास्ट की, वो अलग कास्ट का कैसा होगा? आज मेरी बहन के साथ हुआ, कल कोई और बहन के साथ होएगा। बस आप सब मेरे बहन के लिए इंसाफ दो। ये बच्चे का मुंह देख के इसका इंसाफ करो।
परिवार क्या कह रहे हैं? आपके माता पिता?
मेरे माता पिता भी वही कह रहे हैं। अभी मेरी बेटी नहीं रही ना, तो वो भी नहीं रहना चाहिए।
देवी आ रहा था तो आगे मतलब ढोल की वजह से आते रहेंगे, बच्चा भी है तो आ रहे थे ना आगे, तो शायद से उसने फोन पे बात कर रही थी लगता, तो लेके बुला के पहले ही शायद चक्कू भी खुलिया रहेगा, बाद में तो लेके नहीं आएगा। ये चॉकलेट दिलाते 5 मिनट ही हुआ और कब कैसा हो गया वो मालूम नहीं। मैं पीछे गली में भांडिया कहती थी।
Viewers, this story flies in the face of what we are being repeatedly told, as I told you, by the ecosystem. What the ecosystem tells the Supreme Court, obviously, is completely cut off from the reality of what women like Rupali are subjected to. Viewers, what does this ecosystem argue before the court? Let's go over some of what has been said. First and foremost, viewers, there are people who have argued from the Muslim side in the Karnataka High Court that the Quran says lower your glances, guard your private parts. Quran says women shouldn't display their charms. Why are they saying this? Because they are telling the court You have no business to interpret our holy books, our faith. You are no one to go into the words that have been revealed as the ultimate truth, and that this is prescribed. Veils, hijab, etc., burqas are all prescribed in our faith, essential feature of our faith. Saeed Noori, Raza Academy founder, says hijab ensures safety of Muslim women. Zamir Ahmed of the Congress says reason for high rape rate is lack of hijab. Hijab hides beauty as girls come of age. Priyanka Gandhi says, don't even get into this issue. In India, women's right to wear a bikini or a hijab are protected by the law. Try telling that, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, to Rupali's family tonight. Or maybe hundreds and thousands of other women. And the young minor who was dragged out by her father, Sadiq Pasha rather, out of school. Try telling them that. Omar Abdullah, wearing hijab is women's rights to choose. You have had Mr. Dave, viewers, come out and say, in the past, in the High Court, the hijab is a symbol, in the Supreme Court rather, hijab is a symbol of dignity for women. Hijab is a Muslim girl's identity. Hijab does not disturb public order. Hijab doesn't hurt religious sentiments of others. Viewers, this is what is said. This is what is being argued. Now, if it becomes an integral part of the religion, where is the right to choose? Rupali didn't have it. And I want to ask some fundamental questions tonight of all of those who have been sitting on times now in the past and have been waxing eloquence about the right to choose and how we should not draw parallels between what is happening in Iran and here. Even one life lost is too many, viewers. I'm sure Dr. Ranganathan and others would agree with me. But first, let's begin with Advocate Tala Rashidi, spokesperson of the Rashtriya Ulema Council. Advocate Rashidi, today what we are seeing is an abnegation of the right to choose. It's an assault on this concept that is being used to betray hundreds, if not lakhs, of women. Would you agree, or would you contest my point of view based on what has happened to Rupali?
A very good evening to you, Rahul, and to all the panelists sitting here.
Good evening.
My first rebuttal is that what exactly do you want to find here? Rupali's murder is highly condemnable, it's gruesome, and it's a very unfortunate incident. The culprit should be dealt accordingly as per the law and should be given the harshest of the punishment. Now, the news that you were quoting, the statement of the inspector, Mr. Rathod, that you were quoting, it clearly says that when the couple was speaking over the phone, the woman asked the accused for a divorce, but the latter refused. The man then asked for the custody of their son, which the woman opposed. This led to an argument between them and subsequently the murder. So where does the hijab angle comes in? A complaint has been filed in such cases. We have seen in the past, and I'm a legal officer, I'm a court officer. I know that in such cases there are cases when the complainant do put in such reasons where the matter can get highlighted, and there could be some pressure on the administration, on the investigative authority. The inspector clearly in his statement has said that the reason behind the murder, or the motive behind the murder, was the reason that the girl was asking for divorce,
okay,
and her husband was asking for the custody of the son. That led to an argument, and that in a fit the husband murdered the girl. We all condemn the act and we ask for the harshest of the punishment. But please don't bring an angle of hijab into this debate. It's a normal domestic violence, and it's an act of domestic violence.
Rashidi Saab,
accordingly.
I am just pointing out to what Vilas Rathod said. You have quoted him halfway. You see, the reason for the problems in the marriage was because her husband, Iqbal Muhammad Sheikh, expected his wife to follow Islamic traditions and wear clothes that Muslim women wear, including the burqa. And that is what led to this estrangement. She had even changed her name after marriage. Her family says that there was continuous pressure on her to follow these traditions and wear clothes that Muslim women wear the burqa. You just heard her family. This led to irreconcilable differences. And finally, this lady said, I want a divorce. But what is sad is, forget about the right to choose about what she should wear. She didn't even have the right to choose to exit a toxic relationship. She even lost that right. Am I right or wrong, Amna Begum Ansari? What do you make of this?
Now, please allow me to respond.
One second, Rashdi Saab, we've heard you. Let's get other voices in also. I've understood what you're saying. You're saying, don't confuse issues. This was a divorce. That was a demand for a divorce, and that's why she was killed. Why are you bringing burqa? I've understood. I'm only quoting what.
Let me add one more point.
Yeah, Rashdi Saab, 1 minute, please. You made your point. Now let's open this up. Let's be fair to others, please. You made your point, sir. I gave you all the opportunity. You made your point, and you tossed back to me. Now let me.
A question. You asked me. At least I should be given a chance to respond to
your
question.
But sir, I gave you the chance. Now let Amna Begum. I'm only setting the facts out. You selectively quoted them, so I'm just putting it out before the viewer. I'm not making anything up. I promise
Her
you.
husband was a Muslim before the marriage also. She knew that she was marrying a Muslim man and she will have to live as per his traditions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now that is an assumption you're making. We don't know what went on between them. Okay, so that's an assumption.
So
it's easy to make these assumptions.
Why jump to conclusion? That's exactly the point.
No, sir, because her family didn't say
jump
this.
To conclusion?
I only can believe the family, sir, and what the FIR is saying. So please.
Let the investigation conclude.
Yes, sir, I understand. I understand that would be your defense, and you're valid. You have valid reasons to have these defenses. I'm not denying you your defense. Please, let me bring in Amna Begum. Amna Begum, what we are seeing today, according to the family and according to the police, is a squabble over a demand that was being made of this young woman after she married. She changed her name. She tried as much to integrate. But when they said, look, you have to start speaking in Hindi, you have to wear the burqa, etc., she drew a line. She wanted to exercise her choice, which she supposedly has under the constitution. But that wasn't good enough. Her family is saying it, the police have said so. Amna Begum.
Rahul, hello?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are, very clearly. Please go ahead.
So, Rahul, as a woman, I share the pain of now dead women and family, and I'm part of their pain. I condemn this both as an Indian citizen and as an Indian Muslim woman. And I call upon those Maulvis, Islamists and communists who keep calling India unsafe for Muslims. If it is so unsafe for Muslims, why Muslims are killing non-Muslim here? Also, we need to take accountability as a community and counter our radicals and point out the flaws the Muslim community has. We do have a very serious problem of patriarchal mindset. How long we are going to deny as a community? We are doing disservice to not only our nation, we are doing disservice to our community as well. Yes, not all Muslims are involved in love jihad, but a section of them are, and let us accept this truth and work toward the solution.
Okay, Ms. Ansari, a couple of things. See, this is not a Hindu-Muslim issue at all. This is an issue of the right to choice having been denied. Neither do I personally subscribe to the view that there is something called, no, 1 second, that there is something called love jihad that is happening on an organized basis. Those are your views, not views shared by me or Times Now as a news channel. So I just want to make those two things very clear. I just want to, however, revisit what you were saying. You were saying that when it comes to impositions, choice goes out of the window. Right, Amna Begum? That's what you were saying, that choice, it's not a matter of choice. That's
it is not the matter of choice when a society expects to behave in a certain manner.
The society, especially certain conservatives, expect you to behave in a particular issue, in a particular manner, and therefore you have no choice.
That cannot be a choice.
That is exactly Opposite.
Yes, and that's what has been happening
That
in the
is what
case
has been
of
happening,
hijab.
she says. Okay.
You can see in this patriarchal imposition, till now we have at least 76 people dead in Iran. That's how conservative Muslim society is.
Okay. So you're saying, by and large, there are repercussions. This business of saying that you have a choice, etc., is a bit of a hoax that has been spun before the Supreme Court to try and get the Supreme Court to revisit the Karnataka High Court hijab judgment. Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make of what is happening? This whole, I'm sorry, I hate to use this word ecosystem because they sound like, the Opus Dei or some sort of a sinister organization that is working behind closed doors to bring down, societal relations. But unfortunately, there is a method to this, isn't it? There is a certain method to this so-called activism. I don't know who they're trying to convince or who they're betraying at the end of the day.
Good evening, Rahul. You're absolutely right. There is a method. The method is manifesting itself in virtue signaling and fear. And the fact of the matter is that the intricacies of the method are 1300 years old. There are no two ways about it. And you just heard one of the panelists actually kind of victim blaming, saying that the woman who was murdered horribly, horrific crime, knew that she is marrying a Muslim man and would have to adhere to the Islamic faith. Now, if I can ask that gentleman, why is that restricted to the Hindu woman? Why can't the Muslim man adhere to the principles of the Hindu faith that he's marrying a Hindu woman? But he can't, you see, because these are principles, and this is where I say this. Time and again, we snare the fundamentalists, but we spare the fundamentals. There are two issues here, one of hijab and the other of coercion, where, if you allow me, Rahul, I beg your indulgence, I would disagree with you a little bit. But on one, and I've said this before, that while hijab or a burqa may be considered an oppressive symbol of misogyny and patriarchy, Islam and the Holy Quran is very clear on how a woman should dress. I've said this before, 24:31 and 33:59. So every true Muslim woman has to adhere to this dress code, true Muslim woman. Also, punishment for apostasy in Islam is death.
No.
So once you convert, like the Hindu lady did to Zara, I'm afraid you cannot return to your original faith. Islam, through Quran, completely condemns it, and hadiths have this capital punishment for apostasy. Now, for the second more pressing matter, Rahul, and if I may disagree with you a little bit, because love jihad is a reality. Impersonating someone else's religion for the purposes of entrapping a woman or coercing her to change her religion for the purposes of marriage or for living out peaceful married life are criminal offenses. For the leftists and the logically challenged, some of whom are in the studio right now, most often one and the same thing, the means do not justify the end, where the end is an interfaith marriage, which by itself is a wonderful thing. Now, you can bunch these three offenses under any phrase, love jihad or grooming jihad, it doesn't matter. What matters is, do these offenses happen? The answer is yes, by the hundreds, with alarming regularity. Swati Goel Sharma of Swarajya magazine and befitting facts have been meticulously collating all these instances. Now the church in Kerala is worried. The High Court was worried. So now you cannot just say that the Hindus are, this is a khayali pulao of the Hindus when the church comes in Christian. And for all those chauthi fails who cry this number is not enough out of all the interfaith marriages to merit a debate, well, they raise hell for months. Every time cow smuggling vigilantism occurs, rightly so. But discount its statistical normalization through more than 250,000 cattle transport trips pan-India every year. So when it suits them, even one incident merits an outrage. And here it suits them to ignore the hell a Hindu or a Christian woman goes through. In any case, Rahul, the fact is, while you have the guts, do you have the guts to go against Mahatma Gandhi, who said, if I have the power to legislate, I would stop all proselytizing? Or do you have the guts to go against the holy book that says, do not marry polytheists unless they believe in Islam 2:21? Actually, don't, Rahul, because for the first, you will lose your secularism badge, but worse, for the second, you may lose your head.
Well, Dr. Ranganathan, look, the fact is that there are laws, very secular laws, to tackle anyone who marries somebody by making a false promise. And those laws have been passed, whether we agree or disagree. They haven't been called love jihad laws. That might be a loose term that is used, etc., etc. I don't subscribe to that point of view. I don't believe that young Muslim men are thinking, brooding about how they must entrap, etc., etc. Now, I am not going down that rabbit hole for the purposes of this debate. I want to keep this not as a Hindu-Muslim issue. This is an essential women's rights issue, viewers. I must, because I'm not an Islamic state. I must have the right to wear whatever I want. And my fear is... yes, 1 second, Tala Rashdi Saab. Let me get in the other advocate, Hashmi Saab, as well as let me get in Sudhir Saab also. Sudhir Saab, let me ask you. You see, what is being argued? That please overturn the High Court judgment because in India, women have the right to choose. Now, Rupali's case comes out of nowhere, and look, there is also the case of the young minor Sadiq Pasha's daughter, where the father said, look, the hijab is more important than any other activity that you're going to undertake, even if it means going to school. Your education is not, the kitab, in the secular sense, is not as important as the hijab. So give it up. You will wear the hijab. Now, where's the choice then? This is exactly what we've been saying, Mr. Abhishek. Where's the choice here?
Yeah, well, Mr. Shivshankar, you see, the repression of women is a social evil right from the west to the east. In America, in 2022, the Supreme Court of the United States, the world's oldest democracy, has ruled that abortion is no longer a constitutional right. We've all been seeing what's happening in Iran. So to an extent, there is a state-sponsored repression of women in the United States and Iran. Now, is there such a repression in India? Now, that's not the debate. What I would say to you is, I think Dr. Ranganathan used a very, very important phrase. He spoke of Gandhi and said the power to legislate. Now, as somebody who is an advocate, I am bound by only one holy book. That holy book is the Constitution of India. That is the book I swear by. Now, that Constitution of India says Rahul Shivshankar has the right to wear a suit and a tie. That Constitution of India also says Abhishek Sudhir can wear a chicken kurta. It also says Anand Ranganathan can wear a dinner jacket. It says Gargi ji, who's on the panel, can wear a sari. Now, how am I going to legislate? Can I deny the people of one religion their right to wear religious symbols in public? I would have to deny everybody to wear religious symbols or display religious symbols in public. As far as the school issue is concerned, it's far more narrow, because you can say you ban all religious symbols in schools, like they do in France. But even that exactly, as we've seen, is difficult to implement, because there was a Sardar who said his daughter wanted to cover her head, and he said, that's part of my religion. So we're in a minefield here. Certainly there is a social evil at play here. How do we combat this social evil? We have to have consistent laws that apply across the board to all.
I'm not understanding what you're saying, Mr.
That has faced our nation since its inception.
These are very lofty words, and I welcome your sentiments. And obviously, we want to live in an open democracy. How does this translate? And this is what I'm trying to tell you. And this is where I am beginning to fear that those. Can I
interject, Rahul, for 10 seconds?
Yes, 1 second. That the perils of ignoring Rupali's story are now here to see, viewers. You see, we were told you have a right to choose. But if, as Mr. Sudhir and others say, that wearing the burqa or what have you is part and parcel, and they are arguing this in the Supreme Court, viewers, the religious practices, essential religious practices of Islam, then you have no choice, because that's what's going to happen. If you don't follow, you're gone. And that's also happened in Iran. So there are parallels here. Am I wrong, Dr. Ranganathan? Am I wrong?
No, absolutely. And I think, Abhishek, I really applaud him for saying he's absolutely bang on. What he says is that there is disparity amongst various religions, and you can't, stop one religion or one religious person from exhibiting his, what he wants to. And Abhishek, you're absolutely right. But again, if you may permit me, Abhishek, because we are just friends and we're having a wonderful debate here, I think you also said the first part of what you said out of fear, because you blamed the oppressiveness on the state. I blamed it on the religion. So what you are saying is that the religion is not responsible for having these religious diktats that allow or order women to tell them what they should wear, or to say that the share of inheritance for a Muslim woman would be half that of a Muslim man. So you would say that is state oppressive or religion oppressive. Be frank and say it is religion oppressive.
Anand, in Iran, the state and the religion, there is no separation, right? The Ayatollah Khomeini is the head of that state. But the Ayatollah Khomeini is a Shia. Then you have certain Sunni states. Now in the US, by no means is the US not a democracy, and nor are we going to say the US is not secular. But again, right, it's a Christian value of this, saying we're against abortion, that dictates the fundamental reasoning of the Supreme Court judges. We know that there are some very deeply Christian judges on that court. Trump has packed the court with Christian conservatives. So there's no running away from the religion and state.
Mr. Sudhir, here the state... One second. Here the state, whether we agree with it or not, the Karnataka High Court has come out and said that, look, the religion does not mandate wearing of the hijab. And therefore, since it is not an intrinsic symbol of your religion, you don't have to wear it in your classrooms, unlike the kara or something else, which is intrinsic to that faith. So here, actually, the state is the most secular and will protect your rights in public, but it cannot protect you where religion rules, which is in your home, which might be in your, small enclave, which might be amongst your family. And that is where the obfuscation is happening. As Amana Begum has told us, that the state will protect me if I have the guts to step out and say no. Even that would obviously mean that the state would have to...
Also, let me add one thing, Rahul. Also, let me add, burqa is not a part of Islam. Please do not make it a part of Islam. It is not. It is the part of culture.
Well, Amana Begum ji, this is the problem. You are probably one of the few who is arguing against this. And I respect you for this. I respect you for this, but unfortunately you're a minority in a minority. Because in the Supreme Court, the minders of the faith are arguing through their lawyers to say that, look, don't even go here. This is part of our essential practices of our faith. And then they also say, but we also tell you that if you don't follow the faith, it doesn't matter. It's your choice. It's not your choice. Rupali didn't have a choice, and Rupali married into the faith. I fear sometimes for those who are part of the faith, Gargi Roy and Ehtesham Hashmi. Ehtesham Hashmi, if what the lawyers, the petitioners in the Supreme Court are saying is right, then Rupali's case is a massive, massive wake-up call. Would you not agree?
Thank you so much for inviting me to this debate. I am just posing a simple query to you, Rahul, that in the month of winters, female students are not entitled to wear headscarf. Just give me answer in yes or no. If in winters they can wear the headscarf, then why they can't be permitted to wear the headscarf for whole year? There is no point on discussing Quran. As far as our constitution is concerned, constitution gives us the right to choose what we want to wear and what we don't want to wear. So it is for the student to decide that whether they want to wear something or not. Sari is a symbol of Hindu religion, and kurta pajama and salwar suit are symbol of Muslim religion. Are we trying to divide clothes on religious lines?
Quick response.
It's a matter, Rahul.
Quick response.
It's a matter of shame for us. Rahul, it's a matter of shame for
Hashmi.
Okay. I would term sari as a Hindu symbol, and I would term salwar suit as a Muslim symbol.
So there is no choice.
Mr. Hashmi, the choice is not
nonsense.
Can I please?
So there is no choice. You can't step out.
Hindu cloth or Muslim cloth.
So that's right. That's what I'm saying. So Mr. Dave, now you're hearing this. Mr. Dave, Miss Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, and all the.
I'm not representing Priyanka Gandhi.
Mr. Hashmi, I'm sorry, you are wrong.
In this channel as a lawyer,
it's your argument,
and it's my view.
Can I please?
And it's my responsibility
Rahul,
to tell you the truth.
Yeah, okay. Yes, you are telling us the truth. We accept the truth. That is why we are so scared.
Can I please?
The truth.
Can I please, Rahul?
Yes, one second.
It's a symbol of Hindu religion.
Okay. Doctor, go ahead. Doctor, go ahead.
Yes, Rahul, as you now, Mr. Hashmi, 1 second. Mr. Hashmi,
tell me.
Mr. Hashmi, please, 1 second. Thank you. We're having an absolutely wonderful debate, and you're contributing messages to it. Can I please come in?
1 second, Gargiji, I'm coming to you. 30 seconds. 30 seconds, please. Yes.
Can you this Sadak Chhap
Okay, please. Let's 1 second. Let's get the other point of view in also.
Matter of shame for all of us.
Okay. Matter of shame. Okay, Dr. Ranganathan, matter of shame for you. Go ahead. Don't confuse this issue.
Matter of shame for you.
Okay.
Rahul, I'm sorry.
सुन तो लीजिए हाशमी साहब आपने बोल दिया. Let's listen. You have asked Mr. Ranganathan to step in. He's stepping in.
Please fade him out like his fledgling career.
My sister wears sari.
Okay, sir. Let's listen to Dr. Ranganathan.
Yeah, can I come?
Why are such? I'm sorry. I shouldn't. I wouldn't have been.
Dr. Ranganathan.
You're a trader. If you're going to keep interrupting, you can't attack somebody and not let them defend their name. Please. Yes. Doctor, go ahead.
Rahul, it's not for me to be rude. Just 2 points. Number one, as you know, I support the argument that it is the religious right, and anything that the Allah ordains is essential, and it is not for us to deem what is essential and what is not. So if Allah says that women should dress like this, true Muslim women should dress like that, period. That's my view. Number two, as far as...
Yeah, I understand you disagree. It's his view.
That's not the truth.
Yeah, I know. That has to be. No, 1 second. Now the Supreme Court will tell us that.
It's between Allah and Banda.
Amna Begum ji, the Supreme Court will tell us that, whether it is true or false.
Tell us that. Why would the Supreme Court tell us that?
Now,
why? Tell me, Rashmi Saab, why? Why should it not tell us? 1 second, very important. Mr. Rashmi, what do you believe?
I wanted
the
to make a very important point
gives me the
because I
right
was
to follow
interrupted by
my religion.
Okay. So Mr. Rashdi is very right.
As per my religious books.
Okay. Mr. Rashdi is very right. Mr. Rashdi says, no, 1 second.
The Constitution gives me the
right to practice. Yes, exactly. I agree with you. And that is why viewers...
And please,
Ms. Gargi Roy.
Nathan is not an Islamic expert.
Okay.
To comment on what the Allah says and what the Quran says.
I agree with you there also. If that's what you believe.
About Islam from Dr. Nathan, who is a friend of mine.
He should know.
Okay.
He should know his limits and he should know about his own religion.
Okay, everyone lower. Everyone, please, let's lower everyone's traders. Yes, Gargi Roy, now say what you want to say. Go ahead.
Everybody.
Yeah. Say.
Yeah, somebody spoke about sari. Let me tell that person, Mr. Hashmi, that I wear a sari out of my own choice. Nobody is imposing it on me. And this burqa or hijab is a radical religious imposition on women. Women have no choice. Rupali had no choice. Or you may disagree, Rahul. Here it is a Rupali. In Udupi, in Karnataka, there was this girl called Shilpa who had to commit suicide because the man promised marriage and forced her to convert when she refused.
Fair enough. So you're saying, Gargi Roy, okay, you're saying...
man blackmailed her.
You're saying very clearly, that this is an imposition.
Mr.
Okay, you're saying, I've got your point. I think it's an important point. You, Dr. Ranganathan, Tala Rashidi, Ehtesham Hashmi are all on the same page on this.
1 second, 10 seconds.
Yes.
Rahul, 10 seconds. I want to say.
Yes, go
Rahul,
ahead.
10 seconds. The other person said when the woman accepted a Muslim man as a husband, when Rupali accepted Muslim man as a husband, she should have followed. No, sir, we stay in a secular country. There is a 1954 Special Marriage Act. So as per the act, you can have interfaith marriages and then also
But
follow
ma'am,
your
that
own
is in the
religion.
ideal
So
world.
there is no hard
Gargi
and
Roy,
fast
that is
rule.
in the
So
ideal
those are
world.
left
The ideal
wing
world is clearly not applying.
Yeah, so
And that
that's
is
what
my
I'm
worry.
saying. Yeah, so
Because, one
so
second
Rahul,
now, one
there is
second,
a
Gargi Roy,
word
1 second. Let me just step in here.
that is why
You
you
see,
are-
viewers,
you are also not
here is the
accepting
problem.
that there is
Everyone
that
is
yes,
talking about the ideal world. Everyone is talking about the ideal world. In the ideal world, of course, viewers, we're a secular country. And the state must defend your right to choose. Whether you want to wear a salwar kameez, whether you want to wear a sari or a burqa, or as Priyanka Gandhi Vadra says, a bikini to school. It doesn't matter. You should have the right. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite translate like this, because you have the Rashdis and the Hashmis who say that, look, at the end of the day, this is ordained. And that's what Dr. Ranganathan is saying. Now, whether we agree with him or not, or we agree with the Hashmis and the Rashdis, it doesn't matter. That is what they believe.
Rahul,
Yes.
what other thing? Yes, what other thing Hashmi said needs to be rebutted, because he said it is the choice of a person to wear what he wants to wear. He's wrong, because the schools and the colleges can ordain a uniform. Tomorrow a Jan cannot say, I want to go naked to the school. Will Hashmi allow this? ये कौन सी आर्ग्यूमेंट है? ये लॉयर कैसे बन गए?
वो चलो अलग बात है. How he became a lawyer, etc., etc., a very different matter, and that is, completely. Yeah, that is a complete. Okay, lower everyone's faders. We are not getting into this personal spat. Now, it's very simple. 1 second. I need to move on. There's been an important development, viewers. Big development. But just before that, look, viewers, we need to begin to see through this choice argument. And hundreds and thousands of women who are going to be affected if the Supreme Court weighs in favor of the plaintiffs and overturns the Karnataka High Court argument and verdict. Well, viewers, let me tell you, they are in for a tough time. They are in for a tough time. The state might uphold your right to choose outside your home, but it cannot step in to the four walls of your home. They can say what they want to, but you will have situations like this. It would be very prudent on part of everybody to consider this case as an alarm bell, warning shot. What is happening in Iran can happen here. And it won't be the state to blame. Viewers, think about it. I want to talk about the other big story that is breaking. And that story, viewers, comes straight out of the Union capital. Massive development in the liquor gate probe. Arvind Kejriwal's close aide, Vijay Nair, has been arrested in the context of the Delhi liquor gate scandal. The CBI has widened the Delhi liquor gate probe. And I want to go across to Bhavtosh. Bhavtosh, go ahead. What do we know? What's happening? Why has he been arrested? He's very close to Mr. Kejriwal. How did this happen?
A massive development, Rahul. One of the close aides of Arvind Kejriwal, as you rightly said, and in the FIR itself, CBI has said that he's the person who arranged bribes to public servants, not limited to just bureaucrats, but also to Deputy CM Manish Sisodia and to close associate of Manish Sisodia. He was the person who, in fact, gave bribes to liquor lobbyists and to individuals, and he has been arrested after 8-hour-long questioning here at CBI headquarters. Massive development has taken place in Delhi excise policy case. This arrest has just taken place. We are breaking on times now, and to our viewers, very big development, and politics obviously will be played on this entire issue. So far, charges were being leveled by BJP and AAP, but first big development has taken place. Central Bureau of Investigation.
Bhavtosh, this is very important because I want you to elaborate on this. The CBI's FIR says Nair was, quote, actively involved in irregularities in framing and implementation of the excise policy of the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi for the year 21-22, unquote. So this is that new policy which is in controversy, isn't it, Bhavtosh? And how was he actively involved in irregularities according to the CBI? Can you elaborate on this, please?
Yes, Rahul. In fact, the allegations are very serious. What they have said is that a close set of people, in fact, influenced the framing of the new excise policy, which has now been, in fact, junked even by the Delhi government, and subsequently through a close net of individuals, through some social media influencers, through shell companies. In fact, this is how the entire new excise policy came into existence. And Vijay and I, the visuals of the photos of this individual that we are playing on air, he is the person who in fact diverted the bribe money through people who in fact got the license, and his name was among the individuals in the FIR. He was called in for questioning by the CBI ACB unit. It happened in a very hush-hush manner, and just around 30 minutes back, CBI officially placed him under arrest. His arrest will in fact open Pandora's box, because he was the person who in fact was deciding who would be the individuals who would be receiving bribe. So far, as we have been saying, that both the sides were leveling allegations against each other. Sting operations were being played. Vijay Nair was also the person against whom a lookout circular was issued. He was also the person who...
Bhavtosh, what you're saying is that one of the closest advisors to Arvind Kejriwal is arrested. Now we know, viewers, that the thrust of the entire political attack on the AAP has been focused on Arvind Kejriwal and those that are the closest to him. Mr. Sisodia being the progenitor, according to the CBI, of this entire policy, the mind behind it, and of course Vijay Nair, who is one of the closest aides of Arvind Kejriwal. What does this mean, viewers? This means that this is really the first big high-profile arrest in the Liquorgate scandal of someone very close to Mr. Kejriwal and the AAP ecosystem. Bhavtosh, that would be one way of looking at it, isn't it?
Yes, Rahul. In fact, the entire manner in which AAP came into existence, the allegations as to how AAP in fact influenced the liquor policy, and how the excise policy came into existence, and how this entire manner in which it said that it will change the Delhi's alcohol culture also, if I can say that, was all decided by Vijay Nair. Vijay Nair also had several shell companies. He also had companies like OML. He had stake in companies that were set up by stand-up comedian. So it's a very intricate investigation that is being carried out not only by CBI but also Enforcement Directorate. Remember last week, one of AAP MLAs, Durgesh Pathak, was called in for questioning. Remember when Vijay Nair's residence was raided by the Enforcement Directorate? Vijay Nair's residence also has presence of Durgesh Pathak. Durgesh Pathak was then questioned by the Enforcement Directorate for 8 hours because they were searching his mobile phone and also getting details of why he was present at Vijay Nair's residence when the raids and searches were still going on. So his association with AAP goes long time back. His association with several celebrities is also there. So Vijay Nair is not a person only limited to AAP. He in fact has 12 or 13 companies that are directly or indirectly linked to him. He's someone who is known not only in political circles but also outside political circles. So one can say that it's just the beginning of this investigation. Massive development has taken place. One has to wait and see how AAP reacts, or for that matter how BJP reacts. Back to you.
So the first big inner circle member, so to speak, of Team Kejriwal arrested. Now this holds massive implications, because from day one, the attack of the BJP on the back of the CBI raids has been on one person, Manish Sisodia, and of course his patron-in-chief, in a manner of speaking, the Delhi Chief Minister, Mr. Kejriwal.
Well, absolutely. And Rahul, you know, this changes the narrative to a large extent, because thus far what has been seen, of course, as you rightly said, Vijay Nair is known to be a very close associate of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, and as per the FIR, even associated with Manish Sisodia to that extent. But yes, what Aam Aadmi Party has said thus far is that it has repeatedly said that if there is evidence, why is it that no arrest is being made? Now the CBI has gone ahead and actually carried out an arrest. Now what will the Aam Aadmi Party have to say as far as this is concerned? And the fact that there there was no arrest thus far was proving to be some kind of an alibi, or at least an argument on part of the Aam Aadmi Party that this is all just a witch hunt. That is no evidence that the agency has been able to gather despite several weeks of investigation, and that's where things were at. Now this will entirely change the political discourse surrounding the entire Liquorgate scandal, because not only has the agency gone ahead and carried out this arrest, it would have obviously been able to get something, or would be convinced that would be able to get a conviction, at least as far as Vijay Nair is concerned, in a court of law, and that is why it has gone ahead and carried out this particular arrest several weeks after it first carried out raids at the residence of the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister and several other aides of his. Now, what is the exact thing that Vijay Nair has been accused of? Bhavtosh has been telling us, but it is on his behalf that certain payments were made, that cash exchanged hands, and that's something that the CBI has said or had alleged, at least as far as the initial FIR is concerned. Will they be able to prove those very serious charges that were leveled against Vijay Nair and his alleged associates that was made in the FIR? That's going to be a very, very important aspect of this entire investigation.
Okay, Shehzad Poonawala of the Bharatiya Janata Party, who has been fronting for the BJP the narrative on Liquorgate, also joins us. Mr. Poonawala, thank you for speaking to Times Now India Up Front tonight. You have been constantly alleging in your press conferences that you have held on behalf of the Bharatiya Janata Party that this scam allegedly reaches right up to the doorstep of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Today, the first big Liquorgate arrest has taken place. Key Kejriwal aide arrested, Mr. Vijay Nair.
Rahul, first of all, thank you for having me on your very watched show, and let me just use your platform that this number 5 accused, Vijay Nair, is somebody who is deeply and intrinsically connected to the Aam Aadmi Party, to the extent that his network is so deep that his connections reach right up to the server of the Aam Aadmi Party, which is Mr. Kejriwal. And his role in the entire liquor scam and tweaking the liquor policy to favor a few liquor mafia, and to get them huge benefits at the cost of the exchequer has been described in vivid detail by our people in the press conferences, particularly Parvesh Sahib Singh Verma, Adesh Gupta and Manjinder Sirsaji. And therefore, I would just request you that please do a deep dive into what relations Vijay Nair has. And let me use your platform to just ask Mr. Kejriwal now that Mr. Vijay Nair, whose fingerprints on Aam Aadmi Party and whose fingerprints on the liquor scam all are undeniable, will Mr. Kejriwal call Mr. Vijay Nair Kattar Imandar? He has been using this Kattar Imandar and Kanha phrase for Amanatullah Khan. Your channel has exposed the Waqf scam. Okay. He has used this entire narrative for Satendra Jain, who's in jail. You have exposed the Hawala scam. You have also exposed the classroom scam, and you have exposed the Sharab liquor scam in vivid detail. Now, Rahul, only through your platform I want to ask Mr. Kejriwal that will he come out tomorrow and do a press conference and tell us who is Vijay Nair and what is his connection with Vijay Nair?
Well, very interesting, viewers, because everyone is aware of who Vijay Nair is, though he does not hold a formal position. Thank you, Shehzad Poonawala, for joining us. He doesn't hold a formal position in the Aam Aadmi Party. I'm going to very quickly read a little more about what the CBI FIR quotes about Vijay Nair. Sources further reveal that Shri Arun Ramchandra Pillai used to collect undue pecuniary advantage from Shri Samir Mahendru, MD, MS Indo Spirit for onward transmission to accused public servant through Shri Vijay Nair. A person named Arjun Pandey has once collected huge cash amount of rupees 2 to 4 crores from Shri Samir Mahendru on behalf of Shri Vijay Nair. Apart from the above, reliable sources revealed that Shri Vijay Nair, former CEO of MIS Only Much Louder, an entertainment and event management company, Shri Manoj Rai, ex-employee of MS Pernod Ricard, and Shri Amandeep Dhal, owner of Brindco Spirits, and Shri Samir Mahendru, owner of Inda Spirits, are actively involved in irregularities in framing and implementation of excise policy of GNCTD of Delhi for the year 2021-22. Now, what we do know, and let me bring in Madhav here, what we do know that Vijay Nair is thought to be the man behind AAP's media and communication strategy, despite not holding a formal designation. So he is not a random person like some of those who were arrested, who ran a bar or perhaps had a liquor license, he is definitively part and parcel of the architecture of the Aam Aadmi Party, isn't it?
Well, Rahul, you know, as you rightly put it, he has no official position in the government of Delhi. Yes, of course, he has been associated with the Aam Aadmi Party to the extent that he has been speaking or at least reaching out to media houses on behalf of the Aam Aadmi Party and the Delhi government as far as their media strategy is concerned. To that extent, you're absolutely right. And of course, also at the same time, he is a businessman. He is associated with this company called Only Much Louder, which is also mentioned in this FIR. In fact, he is accused person number 5 in this FIR, and he is said to be the former CEO of Messrs. Only Much Louder, an entertainment and event management company that is based in the Crescent Bay, Jarbai, Wadia Road, Parel, Mumbai. The address is given there as well. So very clearly, of course, this is as far as the role of Vijay Nair is concerned. What is also specifically mentioned over here is that some of these accused have allegedly collected money on part of Vijay Nair from several of these liquor licensees, and also at the same time this was being used to give pecuniary advantage to certain individuals.
Let's elaborate on that with Pranesh, who joins us with the FIR copy, so that we actually get a sense really of why Vijay Nair is in the eye of this storm, why he's been accused, why he's been arrested. Pranesh, an individual who was a college dropout, came into prominence in the early 2000s as a band manager for top indie music acts, and also founded the event management company Only Much Louder, today arrested. Many people think him to be the mastermind behind the AAP's communication strategy, though he holds no formal designation and therefore remains quite the evasive sort of shadowy figure in the AAP scheme of things, but is known to be a confidant in all circles of Mr. Kejriwal.
Absolutely, and you just heard the reaction from the BJP. Let me quickly read out this important page from the CBI FIR. This is the name of the accused persons in this case, filed on this date, 17/8/2022, and if you see the accused number 1, here is the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, and look at accused number 5, Vijay Nair, former CEO, Messrs. Only Much Louder Entertainment. This is the first major arrest in the case. The inner circle of the Aam Aadmi Party breached by the central agency in this Liquorgate scam. And now the question is, who will be the others? Will Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister, who is accused number 1 in the case, the CBI has made him accused number 1 in the case, will Manish Sisodia be the next big arrest? That's the question, Rahul.
The CBI now closing in, Bhavtosh, on the inner circle of Mr. Kejriwal. What do you think is going to happen next?
Well, Rahul, most probably people who have been named in the FIR, sooner or later they will be summoned and they will be asked to record this statement. Remember, many others apart from Vijay Nair have already been recorded. They have been asked to come and record this statement, and they have duly done that. Vijay Nair probably is the only person who has been called in only once or twice before the CBI, and because of the mounting evidence against him, he has been immediately arrested in this case. I will just add one more thing. He is also associated with some stand-up comedy companies which have now in fact folded up, and the names of these companies are with us, but we are not revealing the name of these companies because they are still part of the investigation. The directors of these companies are also stand-up comedian, very well-known stand-up comedian, and they were made directors of these companies only because money was remittance was being done outside the country. Now well, that's how this entire entire racket was operating. That's how this entire.
The CBI is certainly now circling the Aam Aadmi Party and specifically very close to the Chief Minister. Now, what implications this holds, days ahead will tell us. The Aam Aadmi Party yet to react, viewers, on this development. Will they react, or will they say that we don't know Vijay Nair? We don't know who you're talking about. He's not anywhere associated with the Aam Aadmi Party. He doesn't have any formal position, and therefore we don't really need to step up and speak about him. We don't know, viewers. We're awaiting a response. I'll take a short break. The news are coming up.
When journalism is led by integrity, and when experience meets passion, there is no scope for half-truths. when the noise drowns out the truth and many lose sight of what is the real issue.
I ask the legitimate question and uncover the whole truth.
Don't tax the poor people who are using petrol, diesel to go to work or to send their children to school.
I give you the complete picture in black and white, not a colored opinion, facts that help you form your opinion.
The Newshour at 9. Weeknights at 9, only on Times Now.
Can we have your attention please? क्या आप दिन की सही शुरुआत ढूंढ रहे हैं? I believe in an action-packed, fast-paced and an agenda-setting start to the day. सिर्फ खबर दिखाना नहीं, असर होना भी जरूरी है. I am Richa Sharma. I am Amita Wadhwa. I am Pratibha. I am Swati Joshi, and you're watching the Morning News Hour.
Viewers, I have a point of view, and I'm not afraid to look you in the eye when I express it. This is because I know that it's based on an honest, hard fact. A hard fact is uncompromised, just like me. On India Upfront, get the power of the hard facts. Remember, every good argument is based on hard facts. It's just as simple as that.
Aren't you sick of the same old news debates? We get it. We know you want people to talk to you, not talk at you. So we built a space for people like you. A place where your agenda becomes my agenda. Where we keep our eyes and ears open to issues that really matter. But we're all about calmly laying out the information, no unnecessary aggression, no bluff. Filtering out the trash to bring you the truth that isn't partisan and pulls no punches. No WhatsApp gyan, no diktats, just unvarnished facts that you know are honest. Watch Newshour Agenda with me, Padmaja Joshi, weeknights at 10 p.m. only on Times Now.
Whenever news breaks, you will see us. Process it, analyze.
All the top stories on the show tonight, viewers.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Gujarat on September 29 to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of various development projects worth around 29,000 crore rupees. Home Minister Amit Shah is on a two-day visit to Gujarat. He laid the foundation stone of a 750-bed hospital in Gandhinagar in presence of Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel. In a big relief for Eknath Shinde faction, Supreme Court has set aside stay on proceedings before the Election Commission of India. This in the case of real Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut's bail hearing has been adjourned till October 10th. This in his alleged role in financial irregularities in the Patra Chawl scam.
When journalism is led by integrity, and when experience meets passion, there is no scope for half-truths. When the noise drowns out the truth, and many lose sight of what is the real issue.
I ask the legitimate question and uncover the whole truth.
Don't tax the poor people who are using petrol, diesel to go to work or to send their children to school.
I give you the complete picture in black and white, not a colored opinion, facts that help you form your opinion.
The Newshour at 9. Weeknights at 9, only on Times Now.
Can we have your attention please? क्या आप दिन की सही शुरुआत ढूंढ रहे हैं? I believe in an action-packed, fast-paced and an agenda-setting start to the day. सिर्फ खबर दिखाना नहीं, असर होना भी जरूरी है. I am Richa Sharma. I am Amita Wadhwa. I am Pratibha. I am Swati Joshi, and you're watching the Morning News Hour.
Viewers, I have a point of view, and I'm not afraid to look you in the eye when I express it. This is because I know that it's based on an honest, hard fact. A hard fact is uncompromised, just like me. On India Upfront, get the power of the hard facts. Remember, every good argument is based on hard facts. It's just as simple as that.
Aren't you sick of the same old news debates? We get it. We know you want people to talk to you, not talk at you. So we built a space for people like you. A place where your agenda becomes my agenda. Where we keep our eyes and ears open to issues that really matter. But we're all about calmly laying out the information, no unnecessary aggression, no bluff. Filtering out the trash to bring you the truth that isn't partisan and pulls no punches. No WhatsApp gyan, no diktats, just unvarnished facts that you know are honest. Watch Newshour Agenda with me, Padmaja Joshi, weeknights at 10 p.m. only on Times Now.
Whenever news breaks, you will see us. Process it, analyze it, and broadcast it. After the spot reporters, we are the first responders. We are at the front line
of every news event.
We are situation analysts.
Raw, live and unedited. Pure news, pure passion.
Times Now. Action begins here.
You cannot have a memorial of any sort to terror on Indian land. If you have a memorial, I'm not talking about a grave. That memorial needs to go, and let anyone come and take me to court for this.
प्रॉब्लम है हम हिंदुस्तानी इकट्ठे नहीं हो जाते हैं, हम होते हैं हम बीजेपी, हम सपा, हम कांग्रेस और वहीं कलेश पड़ जाता है. So I just want to say we Indians.
Why should they get some random curriculum? ना टीचर ट्रेंड है, कोई भी आदमी.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have breaking news coming in right on top of the news. Our Kejriwal aide Vijay Nair is said to have been arrested. This is the first arrest by the CBI in the Delhi excise policy case. CBI has arrested Vijay Nair, known to be a top aide of Arvind Kejriwal, Chief Minister of Delhi. Vijay Nair has been arrested by the CBI in the liquor scam case. I'm joined by our reporters and our bureau chief in Delhi, Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan. Also joining me is Pranesh Roy. Madhav, to you first. What are the details of this arrest that you can share with us? First arrest in the liquor scam case, as this face-off between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party deepens or likely to deepen after this arrest.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, Navika, this changes a lot of things. Vijay Nair is not just accused number 5 in this entire FIR that has been filed by the CBI. The FIR also mentions that money was picked up on behalf of Vijay Nair to be given from the liquor dealers to certain bureaucrats or public servants. That's the kind of allegation that Vijay Nair was facing in this FIR. Now, all along the discourse has been for the Aam Aadmi Party that if there is evidence, why is it that no arrest has taken place? And that was their primary defense for many weeks now, and that completely changes with this one arrest of Vijay Nair. While they may not be able to pin it directly to the Delhi government, Vijay Nair, of course, not an official in the Delhi government or not holding any official capacity, unofficially, apart from being the CEO of certain event management and media companies, he was advising the Kejriwal government as far as media is concerned, perhaps from a position as far as the party's point of view is concerned. What his official designation is not known at this point of time, but that is the role that he was playing. And BJP BJP has thus along been maintaining that he is certainly somebody who played a key role as far as the illegal kickbacks that were collected from these liquor companies and then of course made its way to various public servants. That's been the allegation that's been made by CBI as well. So that drastically changes it. But above everything else, the fact is that Arvind Kejriwal is a person who has always spoken about himself and his party as those who are kattar imandar. Now with an allegation of corruption, and for the very first time an arrest taking place in this entire Liquorgate scam. There have been other arrests in the past, but perhaps in such a high profile case never before was there any arrest. That drastically changes things as far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned. We're going to bound to see tomorrow a war of words between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party of what this arrest means, whether there's any evidence, and of course what will further happen as far as the investigation in this case is concerned. Back to you.
Well, big story coming in on the Newshour tonight. Kejriwal's aide Vijay Nair has been arrested by the CBI. Pranesh, do you have any details of the FIR and what are the allegations that the CBI has made against Vijay Nair?
Navika, this is a massive crackdown in the Liquorgate scam. First major arrest in the case. Vijay Nair, who's the accused number 5, as listed, and I have the FIR copy that has been filed by the CBI dated the 17th of August 2022. And if you see accused number 1 here, you have Manish Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi. Look at the other 3. Arva Gopi Krishnan, a bureaucrat. Anand Tiwari, also a bureaucrat. Pankaj Bhatnagar, a bureaucrat. Then comes accused number 5, Sri Vijay Nair, former CEO, Messrs. Only Much Louder, an entertainment and event management company. The address is listed. Now the charge on Mr. Vijay Nair is that apart from being an insider of Team AAP and an associate of Sisodia and Kejriwal, he was the one on whose behalf money was collected by aides of Manish Sisodia, and that money, according to the probe agency, was handed over to the bureaucrats who were part of the larger nexus. Now that's the charge. Now so far the political blame game on this story has been raging. The BJP has linked Vijay Nair to be a close confidant of Arvind Kejriwal. Many in the BJP have also put out a tweet to say that Vijay Nair has been arrested, Sisodia and the others will be next. We'll have to wait and watch.
Well, clearly a big breaking story. Is the news tightening? And Madhav, the question now will be, is it closing in on the political front on Manish Sisodia? Because in the middle of the run-up to the Gujarat elections, when the Aam Aadmi Party has been campaigning hard in Gujarat, their defense has been that this is vendetta, and it's a refrain that we've often heard. But with this arrest, do you think this is now just getting closer to other people in the Aam Aadmi Party, especially Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia?
Well, Navika, that is a very, very difficult question to answer simply because it all depends on the investigation. Clearly, the investigating agency for its own part feels that it has enough, at least prima facie, to be able to go ahead and, take out these proceedings against Vijay Nair and see it to its logical conclusion. Whether they have enough such evidence against the other accused in this case, that's perhaps something that only the agency can answer. But yes, as you rightly put it, we will also have to see what comes out as far as the remand notice tomorrow that is produced in the court when they seek the custody, if at all they do, and quite likely that is the case normally when it comes to such high-profile accused, that the police do question them in custody. Will they question some of the other accused? Remember, many of the other accused have already been questioned not once but multiple times by the agency at the time that the raids had initially taken place. So will they further cross-question them in front of Vijay Nair in coming days? Those are all important questions as far as the investigation is concerned. But yes, the moot question that Aam Aadmi Party has all along been alleging, that all of this is being done with a deliberate design, with the misuse of central agencies, a charge that several opposition parties have made in the past, just because the Aam Aadmi Party is gaining traction in Gujarat, a state where the Election Commission currently is and has visited today, and therefore the announcement for which could be in a matter of days or even weeks. So at such a situation, this arrest happening, certainly we can expect, or it would be no surprise if Aam Aadmi Party comes out and further alleges that it is all being done with a political intent. What here on will be the strategy of the BJP, of the Aam Aadmi Party, and what we're going to see them them say or battle it out really on the political battlefield in coming days is going to be very interesting to watch out for.
Well, Pranesh, it seems there were allegations that there was cartelization that was allowed in the manner in which excise licenses were given out, and also the fact that blacklisted companies were allowed to participate in taking off the excise licenses. Is there any specific role that is being stated, and in what capacity does Vijay Nair become the first to be arrested? Is he a kingpin? Is it some manner in which his connections have been detailed in the FIR? Can you take our viewers through that?
I have the details, Navita, but let me quickly sum up the two sting tapes that have been released by the BJP. The BJP has come out and said that, look, every time Aam Aadmi Party holds a news conference and when they're asked a question on corruption, they blame the centre and the BJP and say the central government is rattled by the Kejriwal model of governance, which is why you have a witch hunt unleashed by the centre on the Aam Aadmi Party leaders, its associates. Now, if you see, let me just read the next page here. This talks about the accused, and it begins here. Shri Praveen Kumar Rai, Director MHA Government of India, has conveyed directions to competent authority to file this FIR, and then it has the name. The OM is enclosed herewith, which discloses that Shri Manish Sisodia, Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Arva Gopi Krishnan, the then Commissioner Excise, Anand Tiwari, the then Deputy Commissioner Excise, and Shri Pankaj Bhattagar, Assistant Commissioner of Delhi, were instrumental in recommending and taking decisions pertaining to excise policy for the year 21-22 without approval of the competent authority, with an intention to extend undue favors. Now, let's get to the role that the CBI alleges Vijay Nair played in this. Apart from the above, reliable sources, and I want to highlight this for our viewers, reliable sources have revealed that Vijay Nair, former CEO of Messrs. Only Much Louder Entertainment Company, management company, Shri Manoj Rai, ex-employee of Messrs. The company is listed, Indo Spirits, are actively involved in irregularities in framing and implementation of the excise policy. Then it goes on to say that source further revealed that some of the L1 license holders are issuing credit notes to retail vendors with an ab initio intention to divert the funds as undue pecuniary advantage to the public servants. In furtherance to this, they are showing the false entries in the books of accounts to keep their records straight. Let me scroll down further. Sources further revealed that Amit Arora, Director of Messrs. Buddy Retail Private Limited, the address is there, Arjun Pandey, close associates of Manish Sisodia, are actively involved in managing, diverting the undue pecuniary advantage collected from liquor licenses. Now, to be specific about Vijay Nair's role, one charge that stands out really, and that has been repeated by the BJP, is that Mr. Manish Sisodia sent people, his associate aides, call them what you want to these leaders and businessmen in Delhi who gave money in the name of Vijay Nair. So here you had a situation where somebody went to a businessman and said that, look, Vijay Nair has sent me, give me the money. Now, it's all a part of the charge that the central agency has made. Now that Vijay Nair has been arrested, I'm sure the due process will be followed, which is he will be interrogated, his custody will be sought.
Absolutely, and Bhavtosh Singh is joining me. And Bhavtosh Singh, what are your sources in the Enforcement Directorate telling you the reason for the arrest of Vijay Nair, and what are they hoping to get to after this first arrest in the Liquorgate scam?
Well, the most important aspect of this entire case is that he is a person who has been directly accused of making sure that bribe amount goes to select individuals, whether they are bureaucrats or to public servants. His proximity to AAP leader is a well-known fact, though he is not associated with AAP, but he is someone who was closely associated with AAP. Remember, he is someone against whom a lookout circular was issued. First lookout circular was issued against him. He was not in India when raids and searches started. When Enforcement Directorate carried out raids and searches in Mumbai, Mumbai. Durgesh Pathak, the AAP MLA, was present at his residence, and that was one of the reasons why Enforcement Directorate called AAP MLA Durgesh Pathak for questioning for nearly 8 hours. And when CBI in fact called him for questioning for the first time, he was immediately arrested. So there is mounting evidence against him. He's also not only director of OML, former director of OML, but several shell companies. The allegations are that through this cartelization and through various people who got licenses, money has been remitted abroad directly or indirectly, and that's the entire case. It's not only limited to public servants receiving small amount of bribe. It's also about how the money has been laundered abroad, and that's the reason why several agencies, apart from CBI, which is probing this case, including Enforcement Directorate, 2 cases we are looking here, Navika ma'am. One is the CBI case of Prevention of Corruption Act, and the other bigger case is the money laundering case. Maybe Vijay Nair could be questioned by the CBI. Later on, the custody will be taken by the Enforcement Directorate. So big trouble for AAP, embarrassment for AAP, and for Manish Sisodia and others. We have to see how AAP reacts into this and how BJP will react in days to come.
Well, we'll continue to follow this big breaking story because right now there has been no reaction coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party, Manish Sisodia or anybody else. We're waiting, though the BJP is tweeting. The Delhi BJP has of course tweeted and said that this is just the beginning, more yet to come. Is this going to turn into a political slugfest? Well, we're going to keep following this story. Thank you very much for joining me, Madhav, Bhavtosh and Pranesh. We'll move on to the big story that we are following on the Newshour tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the Islamic State of Iran is today witnessing a massive revolt by women after 22-year-old Mahsa Amini was allegedly killed by Iran's so-called morality police for opposing the veil. Unfortunately, the reality is no different in India. In India, refusing to wear a burqa or a hijab can also have dire consequences, and that was seen in Mumbai's Tilak Nagar today. The lobby that has been saying that wearing the hijab is a matter of choice must see this tonight. A 23-year-old woman in Mumbai had her throat slit by her own husband after she allegedly refused to wear the hijab. Her only fault was that she once refused to wear the burqa after being forced by her husband. Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, a 23-year-old Rupali had married Mohammad Iqbal Sheikh 3 years ago, but little did she know that her life would take an unexpected turn after she refused to give in to her husband's pressures to following the religious sentiments and practices of his family. The family members of Rupali say that Iqbal often forced Rupali to follow Islamic rituals and wear the burqa from the very first day of their marriage. Rupali even adopted the name Zara after marrying Iqbal, but in return for Rupali's love, he actually ended up slitting her throat. Times Now visited the location in Chembur where this horrific murder took place and spoke to eyewitnesses. Listen in.
मैंने देखी कि बॉडी मीन्स ऐसे ही पड़ी थी एकदम, जैसा मैं नज़दीक जाके देखी तो बॉडी एकदम अलग ही मतलब पोजीशन में थी, ऐसा फैला, पैर पूरा ऐसा था और ऐसी वो पड़ी थी, पूरा चेहरा ऐसा और जीभ बाहर थी और खून था और गले में ऐसा दुपट्टा लपटा हुआ था।
मुंबई के चेंबूर इलाके में जिस 20 वर्ष की युवती की हत्या हुई है उसी स्पॉट पर फिलहाल हम मौजूद हैं। आपको तस्वीरों के जरिए बता दें कि ये एक छोटी सी गली आप देख पा रहे हैं और इसमें ये वो खून के धब्बे हैं जो कि आपको इस एक्सक्लूसिव ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट में हम दिखा रहे हैं। साफ तौर पर आपको बता दें कि सामने वाली गली से नवरात्रि के चलते देवी की मूर्ति पास हो रही थी जहाँ पे ढोल ताशे बज रहे थे और उसी बीच में एक लड़की जो अपनी जान बचाने के लिए फिलहाल दौड़ रही थी इसी गली में, उसकी मौत होती है जिसको गला रेंद कर उसकी हत्या कर दी जाती है और इस निर्मम हत्या को कोई और नहीं बल्कि उसी युवती का जो पति है वो अंजाम देता है। क्या देखा आपने? लड़की की जो लाश थी वो किस अवस्था में थी?
गिरी पड़ी थी यहाँ पे, उसका खून, उसका ब्लड वगैरह पूरा पड़ा हुआ था। हाँ,
साफ तौर पर ये गवाही दे रहे हैं कि इन्हीं नालों से जो है वो खून के धब्बे बहते हुए आगे बढ़े हैं। हालांकि पुलिस अभी भी जांच करी है कि वाकई में वजह क्या है।
Times Now also spoke to the family members of Rupali. Her sisters, in her complaint, also mentioned that often Iqbal would fight with Rupali and threaten her with dire consequences. Listen in.
परिवार क्या क्या मांग करता था उनसे?
कि मतलब हमारे कास्ट में ये तो हमारे कास्ट है, बोल मराठी मत बोल, हिंदी बोल, ये सब बोल, हमारी जात का बुर्का पहन, ऐसा रे वैसा रे, बहुत टॉर्चर करते थे।
एक चीज ये कि आपने भी बताया कि मुसलमान कल्चर फॉलो करने के लिए परिवार उनके ऊपर दबाव डालता था। आपकी बहन बिल्कुल फॉलो नहीं करती थी?
नहीं करती थी। कैसे करेगी मैम, हमारे कास्ट की, वो अलग कास्ट का कैसा होगा? आज मेरी बहन के साथ हुआ, कल कोई और बहन के साथ होएगा। बस आप सब मेरे बहन के लिए इंसाफ दो, ये बच्चे का मुंह देख के इसका इंसाफ करो।
परिवार क्या कह रहे हैं आपके माता पिता?
मेरे माता पिता भी वही कह रहे हैं। अभी मेरी बेटी नहीं रही ना, तो वो भी नहीं रहना चाहिए।
देवी आ रहा था तो आगे मतलब डोर की वजह से आते रहेंगे, बच्चा भी है तो आ रहे थे ना आगे, तो शायद से उसने फोन पे बात कर रही थी लगता, तो लेके बुला के पहले ही शायद चक्कू भी खुलिया रहेगा, बाद में तो लेके नहीं आएगा। ये चॉकलेट दिलाते 5 मिनट ही हुआ और कब कैसा हो गया वो मालूम नहीं। मैं पीछे गली में डांडिया खेल रही थी।
If Rupali's murder doesn't shake the conscience of the likes of AIMIM chief Owaisi and Dushyant Dave, who call hijab a symbol of dignity and a matter of choice, then perhaps nothing would. These men who call hijab a choice for women and say that it should be left to the women to decide on it are equally culpable in this end that Rupali has come to. Can they bring Rupali back? They can't. But can we save more Rupalis from being murdered by their husbands if they refuse to wear the hijab? That's the legitimate question we are asking. Will the ecosystem end this denial of repression? That's the question we are asking. Rupali burqa murder. That's the hashtag and the debate on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining me tonight, Vinod Bansal, national spokesperson of the VHP, Nikhat Abbas, political analyst, Rahul Ishwar, activist, Hazi Khan, Islamic scholar, Majid Haidri, political analyst, and Vivek Srivastava, political analyst. But my first question goes to Nikhat Abbas. Nikhat Abbas, is this a matter of choice? That's what we hear when the issue of hijab is raised. But in this case, Rupali's choice was not to wear it. And look what happened to her. Is it being imposed on women of a particular community, or is this really left to being a matter of choice for many in the Muslim community? It's a question I want to ask you.
Absolutely, Navika ji. Sadly, what we are seeing right now is that we're slipping actually backwards instead of moving ahead with the development. I'm talking about specifically Islamists, specifically my community Muslims. What we see today is the forceful imposed on the women of a law which has been made by the radicals, by the extremists, in the name of God's will. They clearly are indicating that this is the God's will, wherein it is not. It is their personal choice. This is their cruelty. This is their dominating nature, and they're literally imposing their choice, their will on the women that you should wear a hijab. And what has happened with this girl certainly is a threat to the entire nation, to the entire community of Muslim women, that if you do not follow the laws which are made by us and not by Allah, mind it, you'd be found dead. This is the kind of extremist and radical nature we are seeing in today's society. And I must tell you, we have a big panel today, Navika ji. Despite of that, I know who all are right now going to support hijab. And I must tell you, these are the people who tomorrow would be the reason why girls like Nikhat Abbas, who do not wear the hijab by choice, and many other women and females would be found dead. These will be the people who are inactive, who are silent on this issue, who are just sitting back and you're seeing the show right now that yes, if women are declining or denying hijab, you'd be killed. They are the supporters. They are the silent supporters, you know, the supporters who are behind the curtains. Just on the television, they would say, no, it is their choice. Jo nahi pehnenge chalega, jo pehnenge chalega. No! This is the kind of agenda they are creating worldwide for the women to be dominated, because when you cannot see a woman without hijab, you clearly cannot see a woman at a very powerful position.
You are afraid of taking orders from women, of working under them, of seeing them reach the sky high and giving you the example that yes, even Muslim women can empower, we can be uplifted. But today it is very sad that we are going to see a lot of panelists here who are going to say that yes,
Majid Haidri is the hijab,
it is an essential part of Islam,
of a way of stalling the progress of women. It's a question not raised just by me. It's also something that Nikhat Abbas is asking you.
Well, Navika Sahiba, firstly I condemn Zara's dastardly murder. I also condemn Eknath Shinde government's failure to save her life. And I also condemn if her husband is really involved in this dark circle. But one thing I humbly appeal to everybody is that...
उसका नाम रूपाली था, आप उसे ज़ारा ही बुलाएंगे ना?
Madam, I am coming to that point only. See, we all as the worthy nation needs to understand that once a Hindu woman marries a Muslim man, performs a nikah with him, she becomes a Muslim. And a Muslimah is expected to observe Islamic principles. And here she is not Rupali, legally she is Zara, and let you kindly address her as Zara because I into the Islamic principles of how a nikah is performed and what are the obligations.
Okay. So forget burqa and hijab. There is a more basic issue that is being pointed out by Majid Haidri. Rahul Ishwar, अब तो रूपाली ज़ारा बन गई. उसने शादी कर ली मोहम्मद इस्लाम शेख से, तो अब इकबाल शेख है तो वो ज़ारा है. तो भाई हिजाब ना पहनने का तो कोई गुंजाइश ही नहीं है. She has to wear the hijab. She has to wear the burqa.
Navika ji, first point, if Gauri has married Shah Rukh Khan, that doesn't necessarily mean Gauri have to change her religion, or any person. We are a nation where legally Special Marriages Act do apply in our nation. But that's beside the point. I'm proud of what our sister, Indian Muslim sister Nikhat ji rightly pointed out. This is a day we should come together to unequivocally condemn the hardline of Islamists who are perpetrating these things. I am a Hindu conservative myself, but please remember, this is absolute barbarism and atrocity happening inside the Islam community by the hardline Islamists. A girl is being murdered for refusing to wear a veil is absolutely horrible. And please remember, every religion, including Hindu, Muslim and Christian, upholds modesty, decency for males and females. But killing in the name is as horrible as what is happening in Iran. What is the difference between Islamic Republic of Iran and a secular pluralistic nation like India? Because almost similar things are happening here and there. It is time we rise as one, condemn this horrifying incident and say it is a choice for these people. Let us not impose, let any religion, may it by religion or your religion, impose anything on women that is against their own wish. And most importantly, no violence. And let us not sugarcoat it. Let us not give cover fires. Let us not believe that only Hindu
No, Majid Haidri, what do you want to say, Majid Haidri? Majid Haidri, just because a woman marries a Muslim man doesn't mean she turns into a Muslim. She doesn't.
Well, there's something like
Islam by default nahi hota. It doesn't happen just because you marry. You have to accept Allah. That's when she would turn Muslim. If she wants to remain Rupali, why do you want to make her Zara? In fact, she wants to be alive. And her husband Iqbal has slit her throat.
She cannot continue to be Rupali. See, there is something like Sharia which is there.
What are you saying?
Sharia says...
It's not Sharia.
Madam, even our constitution respects Sharia. You need to respect Sharia.
There is no scope for forcing anybody in Islam unless she accepts Islam on her own free will. Can you impose Islam on her? और मैं आदिक खान आपसे पूछूंगी, क्या रूपाली जब शादी करती है तो अपने आप मुसलमान बन जाती है या उसको दिल से अल्लाह को कबूल करना पड़ता है? ये क्या बता रहे हैं? क्या कुरान में ये लिखा हुआ है कि आप दिल से अल्लाह को कबूल कीजिए या आप किसी को जबरदस्ती इस्लामिक बना दें, मुसलमान बना दें और अगर वो बुर्का ना पहने तो जबरदस्ती उसके गले को भी काट दें? क्या ये लिखा है कुरान में?
देखिए नाविका जी, सबसे पहले तो रूपाली जैसे कत्ल हुआ है उसको हम कंडेम करते हैं, उसकी निंदा करते हैं
और इकबाल
निंदा करने से क्या होगा?
मैडम सुनिए ना, आपके कहने से कुछ नहीं होगा, मेरे कहने से कुछ नहीं, कोर्ट करेगा, लेकिन हमें कहना हक बात है ना, सच्ची बात कहनी, झूठ बात नहीं कहनी। इकबाल को सजा मिलना चाहिए, जेल जाना चाहिए, फांसी के फंदे पे टांगना चाहिए। लेकिन अब दूसरी बात जो हैदर साहब ने कही है कि कोई भी निकाह इस्लामिक रूल के एतबार से बिना मुसलमान किए किसी लड़की का किसी मुसलमान से नहीं हो सकता। अगर वो कह रहे हैं कि ज़ारा उसने नाम रखा, निकाह किया होगा, और हिंदू एक्ट में भी अगर कोई दूसरा निकाह करेगा तो वो भी पहले मुसलमान होता है फिर निकाह करता है, जैसे चांद मोहम्मद ने किया था, हरियाणा के चीफ मिनिस्टर ने। ये एक कानून है, लेकिन हम निंदा करते हैं और ऐसे लोगों के खिलाफ कार्रवाई के लिए अपील करते हैं सरकार से और कोर्ट से अपील करते हैं कि ऐसे लोगों को फांसी के ऊपर लटकाना चाहिए। इस्लाम ने पर्दे का हुक्म दिया है, लेकिन जबरिया किसी का कत्ल कर देना ये इस्लाम ने इजाजत नहीं दी है किसी भी आदमी को, अगर वो उसका पर्सनल
रूपाली की चॉइस क्या थी?
वो अगर करती है उसकी जिम्मेदारी है। शौहर का कहने की जिम्मेदारी, कत्ल करने की जिम्मेदारी नहीं है। शौहर कह सकता है और शौहर उसको पर्दे की कह सकता है, लेकिन कत्ल करने की शौहर को इजाजत नहीं है। वो कह सकता है कि इस्लाम में पर्दा है, तुम करो, लेकिन अगर कोई कत्ल कर देता है ये इस्लामिक एतबार से, एतबार से, हमारे संविधान के एतबार से दोनों कातिल हैं और
एडवाइस करने की बात कर रहे हैं। और विनोद बंसल जी, मेरा आपसे सवाल है, ये कह रहे हैं कि लड़की रूपाली थी तो ज़ारा होना उसका लाजमी था क्योंकि उसने मुसलमान से शादी की थी, और जब बन गई ज़ारा तो उसको बुर्का भी पहनना उसके लिए लाजमी है, नहीं तो गर्दन काट दी जाएगी। और ये कह रहे हैं उसका शोहर कह रहा था या फोर्स कर रहा था। और मैं पूछना चाहती हूं, जो लोग सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक गए हैं इस मसले को लेकर के, हिजाब चॉइस का मैटर है, डिग्निटी का मैटर है, आज वो इतना सन्नाटा क्यों छाया हुआ है उनके बीच? आज असदुद्दीन ओवैसी ने कोई बयान नहीं दिया क्योंकि ये रूपाली थी जिसका कत्ल हुआ।
नाविका जी, सबसे पहले तो दूसरे नवरात्रि के आपको सभी दर्शकों को शुभकामनाएं। लेकिन दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण स्थिति में बड़ा दुख के साथ ये भी कहना पड़ा है कि पहले नवरात्रि के अंदर ही एक पहली दुर्गा की हत्या लोगों ने की है। ये बेहद जो है दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण स्थिति है। जिस तरह की परिस्थितियां लोग निर्माण करना चाहते हैं, आप इसको सिर्फ हिजाब से जोड़ रही हैं। मैं कहना चाहता हूँ नाविका जी, ये हिजाब नहीं है, ये वो मानसिकता है जिसने न सिर्फ रूपाली को ज़ारा बनाया बल्कि मीना को अमीना, निधि को नादिया, पूजा को जोया, पुलस्ती को यासिका और यासिका को आलिया, अंजलि तिवारी को आयशा बनाया। आप बताइए, ये जो मानसिकता है वही मानसिकता है जिसके कारण जो है कानपुर का सीबू अली सचिन बना, नौबस्ता का फतेह खान जो है आर्य बना, आगरा का इकराना रवि बना। ऐसे तमाम ये देश बदल करके और हिंदू बेटियों का
हमारे जामिया नगर में
करने में लगे हुए हैं। लगातार जो है मुझे हमेशा बोलना पड़ेगा, मुझे हमेशा बोलना पड़ेगा, जब तक आप करेंगे, जब तक इस तरह से हिंदू बेटियों की हत्या बंद नहीं करेंगे तब तक मुझे बोलना पड़ेगा। लेकिन नाविका जी ये बीच में बोलते रहेंगे, मैं बीच में नहीं बोल रहा,
उसी लिस्ट को आगे
मुझे भी बोलने का अधिकार दीजिए। मैं इस तरह से अगर मुझे बोलने की परमिशन नहीं होगी तो कैसे बंद हो जाएगा? आप मुझे बताइए, इस्लामिक जिहादी कब तक करेंगे? किस तरह से ये बात कर रहे हैं कि वो ज़ारा बन गई तो इसमें मार दोगे? आपने ज़ारा बना दिया तो इसका मतलब क्या आपको मारने का लाइसेंस मिल गया? इस्लाम में महिलाओं को मारने का अधिकार मिल जाता है क्या? कुरान में कत्ल करने की इजाजत है क्या? बताइए ना, कुरान क्या कत्ल करने की इजाजत देता है? क्या हदीस कत्ल करने की इजाजत देता है? पैगंबर मोहम्मद साहब का ये कहते हैं कि आप महिला को जो है मुसलमान बनाइए और उसका गला से हत्या कर दीजिए। शर्म आनी चाहिए आपको यार, किस तरह की भाषा का प्रयोग करो आप लोग, आपको शर्म आनी चाहिए। हिंदू लड़कियों को बराबर मारा जा रहा है, एक नहीं है। देखिए मुसलमान की शादी का क्या मतलब है?
शर्त है कि मुसलमान होना पड़ेगा। इसलिए
अरे भैया मुझे बताइए,
ये
लखनऊ के नदीम ने
नहीं बताते, ये सिर्फ बेटियों को क्यों बताते
हैं? हिना को क्यों मारा? कोटा के रिजवान ने हिना को क्यों मारा?
हमारे मोहल्ले में
एक मिनट रुकिएगा,
लड़की हिंदू लड़कों से शादी की रह रही है, परिवार एक्सेप्ट करेगा।
बुर्के की चॉइस का क्या हुआ? बुर्के की चॉइस
की चॉइस में अगर अल्लाह ताला नहीं पढ़ने वाले को 3000 किलोमीटर ऊपर लेके मार देता तो हरा वक्त पढ़ने में
मुझे समय नहीं मिला।
बता दीजिए, एक रास्ता बता दिया, ये रास्ता है, एक रास्ता है शैतान का रास्ता है, सीधा रास्ता है, इस्तेमाल करना है।
अच्छा, आप तय करेंगे कि कौन शैतान है?
इस्लाम ने तय
निखात अब्बास अगर नहीं पहनेगी तो वो
सत्र का ढकना फर्ज है।
होगा।
मैडम सत्र
इतना ढकना सर से, इतना ढकना है औरत का, मर्द का, इसे टुंडी से लेके घुटने तक नीचे तक सफर दे, इसे वो खोलेगा वो उसके शरीर के खिलाफ जाएगा, उसमें किसी के
निखत अब्बास, अब आपकी कैटेगराइजेशन भी होगी निखत अब्बास. What you wear will describe the adjectives that are used.
If I am a dignified lady or not, if I am a follower of Islam or not, if I am a true Muslim lady or not, if I would be getting married to a reputed Muslim family or not, this would be apparently decided by Haji Khan Saab. Because he is the one to decide if I'm wearing that is a dignified outfit or not. It is for him to decide that if I'm wearing a hijab or not is the right thing or wrong. Not my education, not that I am a lawyer, not that I am a good speaker, not that I am an independent woman would decide my dignity, but apparently hijab would. And who's deciding that? Haji Khan. Because I should reiterate actually that none of the verses in Quran Pak refer that I should be wearing a hijab or it is an essential part of Islam. It is not. As far as hijab is concerned, there is no demonstration in the terms of a cloth or a fabric. As far as hijab is concerned, the demonstration of hijab is equivalent for a man and woman. It is in the eyes of the person. It is not referred to as the fabric or a cloth. Now, Haji Khan would sit barehead, would wear anything he would want, would do anything he would want, would come on the television. But if I, being at my home, watching the TV, singing a song, not wearing a hijab, opening my hair, putting kajal, wearing a bindi, wearing a sari, would tell me that if I am a Muslim or not. But Haji Khan is a Muslim. Haji Khan is a practicing Islamist. Why? Because he is the man of a Muslim community. Now, this is the kind of difference we are facing in our own community, Navika ji. Now today, Haji Khan is very excited to talk about the verses, very excited to talk about the hijab. But apparently, Navika ji, the moment I will bring in the topic that why talaq-e-biddat, talaq-e-hasan and 4 marriages are allowed, he would be appreciating this. Why? Because that is the kind of benefit he is getting out of the Muslim community and apparently Sharia law. Wow. This is the dual-face attitude of such an extremist, of such a radical person who on an international platform would get applauded if he is appreciating the women to wear a hijab and they are being murdered if they aren't.
The lobby, I mean,
like
it's
Iran,
not just Mr. Haji Khan, it's not just Majid Haidi. There is a lobby that stood with them and argued this case that it is a matter of choice. And if Muslim women going to school or inter-college where uniform code is applied, even if they want to wear a hijab, nobody should stop them because it's a matter of their personal choice. I want to ask you, Mr. Vivek Srivastava, what happens to the personal choice of Rupali? She didn't want to wear a burqa. Did she deserve to die?
Okay. See, first of all, I agree with Dushyant Daveji and what he said. And what he was trying to imply was that under our constitution, a woman is free, whatever be her religion. She can wear a hijab, she can observe Karwa Chauth, she can have a Mangal Chut, she may not have it, she may put a bindi, she may not put a bindi. You know, it is all a matter of your personal choice, and this is the freedom which every woman of every religion is granted by the Indian constitution. This is what he was trying to say, and he's right. Now coming to this particular murder, this was a crime of passion. It was not jo hum discuss kar rahe hain wahi galat hai. The murder was not because of hijab. The murder was because there was a dispute between a husband and wife. Please let me complete. There was a dispute between a husband and wife over a child custody. It was a crime of passion. And or agar alag hona tha, they could have divorced, he could have given a divorce. Now he is not going to kill somebody, you know, and go to jail. And no, it is not a question of communist mansikta. Sir, Hindus के अंदर जो dowry deaths हैं, उसका आंसर दें. ये विश्व हिंदू परिषद के बैठे हैं, ये बताएं कि हिंदुओं में कितनी डाउरी डेथ होती है और कितना दहेज चढ़ता है हर बेटी का. अपने गिरबान में देखिए पहले आप. Just because a marriage is interreligious, आप हर marital dispute को एक communal रंग मत दीजिए.
कैसी बात कर रहे हो?
अगर एक
आपने मुसलमान बना दिया, इसका मतलब हत्या कर दोगे आप? ये कुरान में के अंदर लिखा हुआ है, हदीस के अंदर लिखा हुआ है,
अगर इंटररिलीजियस मैरिज है तो अगर उसमें डिस्प्यूट आते हैं तो कम्युनल हो जाता है।
कैसी बात कर रहे हो?
ये कहां लिखा हुआ है? और अगर दो हिंदू शादी करते हैं, दो मुसलमान शादी करते हैं, तो उनमें डिस्प्यूट होता है, तो कम्युनल नहीं होता। लेकिन अगर एक हिंदू और एक मुसलमान शादी करेगा तो अपने आप कम्युनल हो जाता है।
ये तो कम्युनल केस नहीं है, ये तो घोर कम्युनल केस है।
You are trying to say that if two people from different religions marry and they have a marital dispute, it is because of communal issues. This is wrong. This was a crime of passion because of child custody dispute. There were problems of relationship. It has nothing to do with religion. It is not a Hindu-Muslim issue.
मुझे बताइए,
the problem in the relationship according to the family of Rupali was because she was being forced to do. आप मराठी मत बोलो, आप हिंदी बोलो, आप अपना धर्म मत फॉलो करो, आप इस्लाम का धर्म फॉलो करो, आप ऐसे ही मत घूमो, आप बुर्का पहनो. बट राहुल ईश्वर, विवेक श्रीवास्तव shockingly calls it a crime of passion. Crime of passion. And he is silent. He is absolutely silent because, after all, triple talaq is the right thing to do. That is what this lobby thought. And therefore, hijab is also right.
Navika ji, I would like to thank Vivek ji. I thought he would have called it a crime of fashion because it is fashion choice involved and it is only going to be a crime of fashion. Thankfully, he didn't tell that. This is classical pseudo-secular attitude of covering up the Islamist crimes and only highlighting the Hindu issue. What he is doing is whataboutery. I would urge him to at least read Mahatma Gandhi, the greatest icon of secularism in India, where Mahatma Gandhi himself said such practices of parda and the other things should be discouraged because what we only need is modesty. There is no particular dress code. This is an issue of radicalism involved. This is an issue of extremist mindset involved. And how can we close our eyes towards it? It's a day we should stand together with people like Niket. It's a day we should stand towards with our moderate Muslim brothers and sisters and oppose the hardline attitude.
It was a relationship issue between two individuals who are married. It is not a communal issue. It has nothing to do with Hindu and Islam.
You talk about the constitution, and Majid Haidari, I want to ask you. You talk about the constitution in this country, but B.R. Ambedkar ji, the man who is said to be the author of the Constitution of India, was against the hijab. So where do you stand on it? Are women supposed to have their throats slit because they don't want to wear a burqa? Is that constitutional? Is that secular?
Navika Saifa, firstly, there is no Hindu-Muslim angle to this crime.
Okay.
Because nikah is solemnized only between a Muslim man and a woman. But in our fight over Zara and Rupali, we have forgotten that a woman has come. And let me see that somewhere the ideology of BJP is also responsible for this. Because even if there was some hijab angle, who has brought the hijab controversy to the country? It's only the BJP. Women are not being given their choice properly as per their choice. Because BJP is into two conspiracy, the separate conspiracy. Instead of condemning BJP,
your ideology is okay, but the BJP's ideology has led to the murder of Rupali. Well, Vinod Bansal ji, respond to him.
Modi ji is responsible for this.
Yes. Everything Modi ji is responsible.
जी, मैं बड़ी important बात रखना चाहता हूँ.
BJP's ideology, please.
कृपया मुझे 1 मिनट थोड़ा अनइंटरप्टेड दे दीजिए. बीच-बीच में बोलते हैं, ये मैं बात पूरी नहीं कर पाता मैं.
बोलिए आप
प्लीज. देखिए लखनऊ, देखिए ये जो आइसोलेटेड केस नहीं है, ये वही मानसिकता है जिसने लखनऊ के नदीम ने सीमा को मारा, इलाहाबाद के अदनान ने हिना को मारा, कोटा के रिजवान ने अंतिमा को मारा, दिल्ली के अशरफ ने खुशी को मारा, मेरठ के साकिब ने एकता को मारा, दिल्ली के रोहिणी के लाइक खान ने नीतू को मारा, शमशाद ने मेरठ में चंचल को मारा, मुंबई के मुजम्मिल ने मानसी दीक्षित को मारा, रोहतक के मोहम्मद साहिल ने तनिष को मारा, आप गाजियाबाद के शेर खान ने नैना कौर को मारा, सोनभद्र के एजाज खान ने प्रिया सोनी को मारा, रोहतक के आसिफ खान ने शिवानी को मारा, नैनीताल के इमरान ने दीक्षा को मारा, बिजनौर के शहजाद ने बबली को मारा, मोहाली के बारिश ने वर्षा को मारा। एक लंबी लिस्ट है भाई साहब। आप देखिए ये वही मानसिकता है जो ये कहते हैं कि कम्युनल नहीं है रंग, कम्युनल रंग नहीं देना चाहिए। ये कम्युनल नहीं है तो क्या है? मैं नहीं दे रहा, रंग इन्होंने दिया है। पेंट ये करते हैं, हमला ये करते हैं, हिंदू बेटियों को ये मारते हैं और जब नाम लेते हैं तो ये पिलपिला जाते हैं। मुझे लगता है कि हिजाब की आवश्यकता आज महिलाओं को नहीं, ऐसे नेताओं को है जो टीवी चैनल की डिबेट में बैठ करके हिजाब की वकालत करते हैं। मुझे लगता है कि आप एक हिजाब दे करके इनको भेजिएगा। ये जो खान साहब बैठे हैं ना आपके डिबेट में, जाते समय इनको एक हिजाब पकड़ा दीजिए या इनको बुर्का पहना दीजिए। कम से कम ऐसे लोगों का फेस जनता में नहीं आना चाहिए जो कि मुस्लिम द्रोही भी है, महिला द्रोही भी है।
हाजी खान साहब, यहाँ मुद्दा है रूपाली का, और यहाँ मुद्दा है रूपाली जैसी लड़कियों को, निगत जैसी लड़कियों का। जो आप कहते हैं भाई साहब, आप जो कहते हैं माई चॉइस, रूपाली की चॉइस का क्या, क्यों थोपा जा रहा है उसके ऊपर? पर आप जब बार बार कहते हैं, और निगत अब्बास, आई वांट टू आस्क यू, दे से 1 minute, हाजी खान, माजिद हैदरी, विवेक श्रीवास्तव, all of them say that the killing of Rupali was wrong. Well, I want to ask you, Nigat Abbas, the killing was Rupali was wrong, but what about the mindset that you are perpetuating, the mindset that says that कुरान ने कहा हिजाब पहनो तो पहनो, पहनो 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 पहनो, डरा के रखो, धमका के रखो, दबा के रखो, और ये कुरान ने कहा भी नहीं है बुर्का और हिजाब के बारे में। ये तो दिस होल हिजाब एंड बुर्का थिंग इज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ द कुरान. दिस इज बाय द ठेकेदार्स ऑफ इस्लाम हु हैव मेड दिस. And they want to pressurize and hold back women. Nigat Abbas, I'm asking you the question.
इस्लाम में इतनी सी बात कहने की सारे दुनिया के मौलाना और
Absolutely. That is exactly what I said, Navika ji. This is exactly what you're thinking. That no, please, Haji Khan, you won't even have one verse which would describe that hijab is an essential part of Islam. It is not even you know that. आप भी अच्छे से जानते हैं हाजी जी. Had it been, it was an essential part. It would have been very, very necessary in a lot of developed countries who follow Islam. A lot of Islam, the Islamic Desh, Islamic Republic who would follow, there would have been. The only reason why hijab was used by women in different Mesopotamia was because of a deserted nation, was because of the environment they had to face to save them from the sunlight, from heat, from dust. Now, it is for you to tell the entire society that the truth, that Islam does not pursue this. Islam does not force the women of any community to cover their head or hair. It is not about Rupali. Why there are people, Navika ji, who are referring Rupali to Zara? Why is that you're having kind of discussion that she converted to Islam? It is a part of Islam which you need to follow. In the first place, why a woman need to convert? And even if a person by choice has converted from Hinduism to Islam, why is it necessary for her to follow all the rules and all the cruelty you are showcasing as the God's will? It is not. It is not. Why, Haji Khan? It is not necessary for you, and it is necessary for me to cover my head. Otherwise, I'll be found dead, and you will applaud.
And माजिद हैदरी जो लोग कह रहे हैं कि ये उनका जाती मामला था, crime of passion, and I want to ask Vivek this question. Crime of passion. The police has given a statement that the accused and his family members used to pressurize her to follow Islamic traditions and wear clothes that Muslim women wear. ये पुलिस का statement है. I want to ask you, how can you say that this was a crime of passion? It wasn't at all about the burqa. I'm asking you, how do you know? Do you know more than the police?
Yes, because I know more than the police over here, because the police is biased in this particular case. Accused should be punished. and proper legal and criminal proceedings should happen against him. I am not trying to protect him. However, giving a communal color to every marital dispute just because it is between two people who do not belong to the same religion is not good for our Indian ethos. This is not good for our constitution. This is not good for this nation. I mean, हमारे हिंदुओं में एक हिंदू दो हिंदू शादी करते हैं, वो भी डाइवोर्स करते हैं, उनमें भी लड़ाइयाँ होती हैं, उनमें भी डाउरी डेथ्स होती हैं. Don't give it a communal color.
I would be murdered.
He knows more than the police, Rahul. He knows more than the police, he says. He knows more than the police. I mean, have you heard anything as preposterous as this?
My life is under threat. I might be killed by the radicals like you.
He could have divorced her. He could have left her. He could have gone his way. He had many options.
Oh my God!
Yes. And what was her option? Have you ever worried about that, Vivek Srivastava? Have you ever worried about what were her options, my friend? Rahul Ishwar, Vivek Srivastava is more Islamic than the Islamic, Islamists on this panel. You know, he says.
I'm not Islamic.
Yes, sir.
Taking the conversation.
I am pinching myself to believe.
No, please, I can't hear everybody at the same time. Rahul Ishwar only, please. 1 minute. Rahul Ishwar only, please.
I am pinching myself to believe what I am listening on national television. And I was just checking the name on top of Vivek Srivastava. I thought it was Sakir Naik Srivastava who was speaking. I am doubtful whether even Sakir Naik will give this angle. This is the situation of pseudo-seculars in India. They are trying to becoming more Islamist than even the Islamists in the case of vote bank appeasement. See, he is saying he could have left her, divorced her, all because she is refusing to wear a burqa. See, this is the sad case of pseudo-secularism in India. Rather, we should be telling every individual has a freedom. Every individual has a conscience. They have a right to wear the dress of their choice. None should be imposed. Even if there is Special Marriage Act, there is a secular principle applicable. But Vivek Srivastava conveniently forgets everything. This is the case of, showing more Islamism than the Islamists themselves in the hope for appeasing a particular vote bank. This is bad for our Indian Muslims. This is bad for India. This is bad for secularism.
Majid, I agree. Vivek Srivastava here says he had so many options. He could have chucked her out. He could have divorced her, whatever. What about his choices? What about Rupali's choices? What about it? Did she have no choice other than death? And what about that 3-year-old child who has no mother today? Does that child have any options?
Navika Saiba, firstly, there was a definite marital discord, which we call in the legal parlance. But the problem here is that the worthy lawyer on the show, Nigar Nawaz Saiba, I have respect for her, but law does not believe in emotion. She should have at least corrected you that it's not Rupali, it's Zara which we are talking about. Once she married to this man, she became Zara and calling her Rupali.
Why should she change her name? Why should she change her name?
मैडम निकाह नहीं होगा मुस्लिम एक्ट के एतबार से.
अरे
निकाह कांट बी रूपाली.
तो अगर वो रूपाली है, इकबाल से शादी कर रही है, तो रूपाली से ज़ारा बनना जरूरी क्यों है? उसका नाम पैदाइश से रूपाली है, वो अपना नाम क्यों बदले?
किसी लड़के से शादी करेगी तो उसे अपना नाम हिंदू भी करेगा. मैंने आपको कह दिया खान मोहम्मद के नाम वो सीधा बनी थी. बिना मुस्लिम बने हुए एक्ट में तो शादी नहीं है. पूरी शादी मुस्लिम एक्ट में.
विनोद बंसल जी, ये तो नाम बिना बदले, बिना रिलीजन बदले इंसान को भी नहीं एक्सेप्ट करेंगे, किसी लड़की को अपने परिवार में भी नहीं लाएंगे. और कह रहे हैं आदमियों के पास चॉइस बहुत है कि वो औरत को निकाल सकते हैं, तलाक दे सकते हैं, लेकिन औरतों के पास कोई चॉइस नहीं है.
इंग्लैंड से एक लड़की मुसलमान हुई, एक डांसर थी इंग्लैंड की होटल में 5 स्टार में, तो अलीगढ़ आई और अलीगढ़ यूनिवर्सिटी में बहुत बड़ी औरतों
जरा इनका ऑडियो डाउन करें तो काम चले. देखिए ये डिबेट अपने स्टूडियो में बैठ करके नाजायज फायदा उठा रहे हैं और उसे तुम चाटने की कोशिश कर रही हो. हमारा हिंदुस्तान का कल्चर नहीं है जो यूरोप का कल्चर है. बोलने की परमिशन देंगे कि
बाप बेटी से सम्मिलित हो जाता है, भाई बहन से हो जाता है. ये हमारा कल्चर नहीं है. हमारे संविधान ने लड़का लड़की से शादी कर
नहीं, लड़का लड़की से शादी नहीं करेगा तो कौन करेगा?
लड़की से लड़का लड़के से.
विनोद बंसल जी, I don't know. I really don't know where do they want to take this country. Into which medieval ages do they want to take this country? मैं समझती हूँ इस देश की औरतें the women in this country are taking a step forward. They are asking for equality. Forget equality, they can't even make their own decisions on what to wear. Vinod Bansal ji, ये क्या कह रहे हैं? मेरी तो समझ से बाहर है।
देखिए नाविका जी, बड़ा विचित्र स्थिति है। आज आपकी टीवी डिबेट में बैठ करके, नेशनल टीवी चैनल पर बैठ करके, और ये लोग बेशर्मी के साथ में जिस तरह से भाषा का प्रयोग कर रहे हैं, मुझे लगता है कि आज बुर्का और हिजाब की जरूरत उन बेटियों को नहीं, इन पुरुषों को है जो कि स्टूडियो में बैठे हुए हैं। पहले इनको हिजाब पहनाइए, उसके बाद बोलने की परमिशन दीजिए इनको, क्योंकि ये जिस तरह की भाषा का प्रयोग कर रहे हैं, ये चेहरा दिखाने लायक नहीं है। मैं दर्जन भर से ज्यादा केसेस गिना दिए, उसके बावजूद मैं ये कह रहे हैं
मतलब कोर्ट की मैरिज हो गया, आपका इस्लाम के संविधान के ऊपर है।
इतने सारे केसेस मैंने गिना दिए, अभी भी इनको कम्युनल करण नजर नहीं आता।
उसे ऐसे 13 कंट्रीज के
ईरान में औरतों का हाल आप नहीं देख रहे। महसा अमीनी को मार दिया क्या? आप इस्लामिक, पर आप इसको इस्लामिक पब्लिक ऑफ ईरान की तरह बनाना चाहते हैं क्या भारत को? ये सेक्युलर देश है, ये सेक्युलर देश है। यहाँ निखत भी जो करना चाहती है कर सकती है, जैसे आप कर सकते हैं। निखत और नाविका के हकों में कोई फर्क नहीं है। निखत वो कर सकती है जो वो करना चाहती है, नाविका भी वो कर सकती है जो वो करना चाहती है। अगर उसे घूंघट पहनना है, हिजाब पहनना है, वो उसकी मर्जी है, लेकिन रूपाली की तरह गला कटाने की उसको इजाजत नहीं है किसी को भी, जो किसी भी मजहब में हो। लेकिन आप इस देश में ऐसा भ्रम फैला रहे हैं, लोगों को पीछे ले जाना चाहते हैं। मैं सिर्फ इतना कहना चाहती हूं कि ये लड़कियां women will find their way, women will fight for their choice, and for those who are talking about hijab and burqa to be a matter of choice should remember, what about Rupali's choice? What about her rights? Will they remember that? That's the question we are asking. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on the Newshour tonight. On the other side, big breaking news. Follow up on the big arrest. Kejriwal aide has been arrested, Vijay Nair, and the first statement by the Aam Aadmi Party has just been issued. I'm going across to my colleague Bhavtosh Singh. Bhavtosh, today the Aam Aadmi Party has come out and said Vijay Nair is communication in charge of the Aam Aadmi Party. He was responsible for developing and implementing the communication strategies in Punjab earlier and Gujarat. Now he has nothing to do with the excise policy. Strangely, he has been arrested by the CBI just now in the excise case. What is the detail? Why a communication charge cover is being given to Vijay Nair?
Well, Navika ma'am, of course, for the first time, they have admitted that Vijay Nair, who CBI calls is a private individual, has some association with AAP. That's one important development as far as this case is concerned. And post-arrest, AAP is admitting that he is closely associated with the party. AAP on his part claims that he has nothing to do with excise policy, whereas if you just go through the FIR that has been filed by the CBI, they have leveled very serious charges of allegation and allegations of corruption against him, and also that of bribery, whereas sources say that he played a very important role in cartelization and also in drafting of the new liquor policy. Specific allegations of paying of bribe anywhere between 1 crore to 4 crore rupees have been leveled against Vijay Nair. They have also said that he had set up various shell companies, and also importantly what we have told earlier, that he was directly responsible for drafting of liquor policy, and also when raid-based searches were carried out by the Enforcement Directorate. He was in fact at his residence, AAP MLA Gurgesh Pathak was present. These are serious charges as far as...
The Aam Aadmi Party is once again turning the political heat on and saying that because the Aam Aadmi Party is becoming very popular in Gujarat, the BJP is getting nervous, and they also say Vijay Nair was called for questioning last few days and was pressurized to take the name of Manish Sisodia. When he refused to do that, he was threatened that he would be arrested. Any reaction from the CBI on this charge being made by the Aam Aadmi Party?
Well, as of now, no official statement has been issued by the Central Bureau of Investigation. We all are relying on the CBI FIR as of now, but CBI will be producing him in the court tomorrow, and CBI's remand paper will be made public because his counsel will also be present. They will obviously be, in fact, opposing his remand or custodial remand, and at that point of time, we will be going through whatever CBI has found so far in the investigation. First big arrest in excise policy has taken place.
Absolutely, and all eyes now on the courts, what the remand note says and what the court says. Is there enough evidence? All that we'll be following that, all of that tomorrow. Please keep following Times Now for all the big breaking news on Liquorgate, the scam that has created such a slugfest between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. Thank you very much, Bhaptosh, and thank you, viewers, for joining me on the News Hour. I'll take your leave today. Good night. Be safe.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
When journalism is led by integrity, and when experience meets passion, there is no scope for half-truths. When the noise drowns out the truth, and many lose sight of what is the real issue.
I ask the legitimate question and uncover the whole truth.
Don't tax the poor people who are using petrol, diesel to go to work or to send their children to school.
I give you the complete picture in black and white, not a colored opinion, facts that help you form your opinion.
The News Hour at 9. Weeknights at 9, only on Times Now.
Can we have your attention, please? क्या आप दिन की सही शुरुआत ढूंढ रहे हैं? I believe in an action-packed, fast-paced and an agenda-setting start to the day. सिर्फ खबर दिखाना नहीं, असर होना भी जरूरी है. I am Richa Sharma. I am Amita Wadhwa. I am Pratibha. I am Swati Joshi, and you're watching the Morning News Hour.
Viewers, I have a point of view, and I'm not afraid to look you in the eye when I express it. This is because I know that it's based on an honest, hard fact. A hard fact is uncompromised, just like me. On India Upfront, get the power of the hard facts. Remember, every good argument is based on hard facts. It's just as simple as that.
Aren't you sick of the same old news debates? We get it. We know you want people to talk to you, not talk at you. So we built a space for people like you. A place where your agenda becomes my agenda. Where we keep our eyes and ears open to issues that really matter. But we're all about calmly laying out the information, no unnecessary aggression, no bluff. Filtering out the trash to bring you the truth that isn't partisan and pulls no punches. No WhatsApp gyan, no diktats, just unvarnished facts that you know are honest. Watch News Hour Agenda with me, Padmaja Joshi, weeknights at 10 p.m. only on Times Now.
Whenever news breaks, you will see us. Process it, analyze it, and broadcast it. After the spot reporters, we are the first responders. We are at the front line
of every news event.
We are situation.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Today the CBI made its first arrest in the Delhi excise scam, and the first arrest itself has sent shockwaves in the Aam Aadmi Party, because the arrest is of Aam Aadmi Party leader and close Arvind Kejriwal aide Vijay Nair. Nair was called to the CBI headquarters and was arrested soon after questioning. Now sources say that he has been arrested for quote-unquote conspiracy, cartelization and chosen licensing. But who really is Nair and what role is he accused
accused of playing in the excise policy scam. Accused number 5 in the Liquorgate scam FIR, the CBI accuses Nair of carrying kickback money from liquor companies to public servants. The FIR also says that Nair was actively involved in quote-unquote irregularities in framing and implementation of the Delhi excise policy. Simply put, the Delhi excise policy was framed in a way that it would benefit a few people. There were businessmen, people who owned these liquor vends, politicians and bureaucrats who conspired in order to tweak the policy in a way that only a group of people would stand to make windfall gains. Vijay Nair is one of those accused. The Aam Aadmi Party reacted soon after and has called the arrest an attempt to intimidate at a time when the AAP is preparing for the Gujarat elections. A statement from the Aam Aadmi Party says, and I quote, Vijay Nair is communications in charge of AAP. He was responsible for developing and implementing communication strategies in Punjab and Gujarat. He has nothing to do with the excise policy. Strangely, he has been arrested by the CBI in the excise case. He was called for questioning, was pressured to take the name of Manish Sisodia. When he refused to do so, he was threatened that he would be arrested. Essentially, the Aam Aadmi Party is saying that he is pressured to try and implicate Manish Sisodia when he refused. He is being thrown under the bus, and also that he has got nothing to do with the scam itself. 4 questions which are now being raised by the Aam Aadmi Party. Is he being victimized for being in charge of communications for Gujarat? Is he being victimized because he refused to name Manish Sisodia? When his house was searched, has anything been recovered from there? And finally, why is he being arrested when he has got nothing to do at all with the formulation of the excise policy? But remember, Vijay Nair is just the first arrest. This is a case in which Manish Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister himself, is accused number 1. So if the arrest has already reached the aid, could Manish Sisodia be next?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Professor D.K. Giri, political analyst, Dr. Suman Siraman, political analyst, Akashdeep Muni, also political analyst, along with Binay Singh. But my first question is to spokesperson of BJP, Harish Khurana. You searched the house of Vijay Nair. Was anything found? That's the straight question being asked to you by the Aam Aadmi Party. The CBI, actually, not you, Mr. Khurana.
Padmaja, we should know who the Vijay Nair is. Vijay Nair is a key middleman who has done the deal with the liquor mafias and the government. And if something has been found from the house of Vijay Nair, that has to be given the statement in the court. Why we will give the why we will tell anybody like Aam Aadmi Party to that we have found this or we have found that? They are nobody. They are nothing. Only the court will decide whether the proofs which has been given by the CBI is right or wrong. And remember, the same statement, same vendetta politics is going on, has been given at the time of when the Jain was arrested. The same thing, he has been in charge of Himachal Pradesh. That is the reason vendetta politics is going on. So what has happened today? Since last 4 months, Mr. Jain is in jail by the order of the court, not by the order of ED or by the CBI. We should understand that. So point is, at the end of the day, the law will take their own course and everything will be happen according to the court, according to the law and as per the order of the court.
Okay, Akashdeep Muni.
Why are you in so much hurry of giving this?
Whatever evidence is there will be before the court. Akashdeep Muni.
Definitely, whatever evidence is there, that will be before the court. But one thing, when Padmaja, when you ask a question of what for Vijay Nair was arrested, there is no answer. This shows there is no case actually. I'll just tell you the case. Time and again I have come to number of shows and answered all the questions about the new excise policy. Why it was taken back, the 144 crore thing, the enhancing in the license fee. But still the same questions asked time and again.
So I do not want to, because we will go way off the topic right now. Let's keep it very focused on Vijay Nair. Are you saying this meeting that the CBI claims happened in a 5-star hotel where Mr. Nair was present along with 2 other people, where the formulation of the excise policy was tweaked in order to benefit a group of people never happened? Are you saying that that meeting never happened? Because a very specific allegation made in the FIR.
See, very rightly said, it's an allegation. The thing is that if you have read the FIR, the CBI, actually the CBI, every now and then is saying that sources are saying this, our sources have said this, and there is no pinpoint clarity upon where they are getting the information, what evidence they have. Actually, it is all a cloud bubble which will be bursting one day after the Gujarat elections.
Okay, so this is a grand fishing expedition. Harish Khurana, and since Akashdeep Muni referred to those sources, let me actually read out to you that relevant part from the FIR. Page number 4 says, and you're right, it says, reliable sources have revealed that Vijay Nair are along with 3 other people, they name Manoj Rai, Amandeep Dhal, Sameer Mahindru, are actively involved in irregularities in framing and implementation of excise policy of Delhi for year 2021-2022. So who are these sources that the CBI has? You don't really have any recoveries. You don't have any evidence of the meeting. All you have, Harish Khurana, are sources. Answer.
Padmaja, we should understand there are 2 different parts. One is legal and one is moral. In legally, Aam Aadmi Party is no way have any right to get what CBI has found. It has the court who will decide whether the case is right or wrong. But why Aam Aadmi Party is so much hurry of giving a certificate of honesty or vendetta politics? We are having a script of vendetta. I'm sorry. Now will take their own course. Point number 1. He has said one thing. I have already stated. He's a key middleman. He's a key middleman between Sharab, liquor mafia. Let me ask you.
With all respect, what proof you have?
What is this?
What proof you have? With all respect, what proof you have? When you say that he is a middleman, what proof you have?
Have you seen the things? Have you seen what
things, sir?
Can I, Padmaja?
What proof do you have of him being a middleman? Direct question.
Baba, everything is out now. When you have seen that videos which have come out of the people who have given the money, they have clearly said, we have given 100 crore rupees to Manish Sisodia. We have given 60 crore rupees by Mrs. Chadda. Have you not seen the sting operations? What proof you want? And this is the same party who says, sting aa jaye, so hum will take action. Now what has happened? Sting is out.
I hope that you have seen the sting operations.
What is this? Why is it interfering?
Okay, sorry. Please go ahead. My fault.
Okay, finish your point. Yes.
Point is, when the 2 main accused in that FIR has clearly said we have given the money, what all proofs you want? A person who has given a money has clearly said we have given a money 100 crore rupees to one party, 60 crore rupees is given by Mrs. Chadda. It is clearly, what else proof you want?
Okay, we've got before you react to that, let me just play out, because Aam Aadmi Party MLA Atishi's first reaction is coming in already. You've got Dilip Pandey pretty much echoing what the Aam Aadmi Party earlier said, that this is a witch hunt politics, that ahead of the Gujarat elections the BJP is nervous. Let's listen in to Atishi.
आम आदमी पार्टी के कम्युनिकेशन इंचार्ज हैं। दिल्ली के 2020 के चुनाव में, पंजाब के 2022 के चुनाव में कम्युनिकेशन, सोशल मीडिया स्ट्रैटेजी के वो इंचार्ज रहे हैं। पार्टी के व्यक्ति हैं, सरकार का उनसे कोई लेना देना नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी एक्साइज पॉलिसी के इन्वेस्टिगेशन के तहत सीबीआई ने उन्हें अरेस्ट किया है। क्यों? क्योंकि विजय नायर गुजरात के चुनाव का कम्युनिकेशन, मीडिया, सोशल मीडिया देख रहे थे। सरकार से कोई लेना देना ना होते हुए भी उनको अरेस्ट किया गया है, क्योंकि गुजरात में अरविंद केजरीवाल की और आम आदमी पार्टी की बढ़ती लोकप्रियता से भारतीय जनता पार्टी को डर लग रहा है। पिछले कई दिनों से सीबीआई उन्हें बुला रही थी, धमका रही थी, कह रही थी कि मनीष सिसोदिया का नाम लो, कह रहे थे कि अगर मनीष सिसोदिया का नाम नहीं लिया तो तुम्हें अरेस्ट कर लेंगे, और आज ऐसा ही हुआ है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी आज गुजरात में आम आदमी पार्टी की बढ़ती लोकप्रियता से डर रही है, और विजय नायर की गिरफ्तारी ये साफ साफ दिखाती है।
ओके, बढ़ती लोकप्रियता की बार बार बात कर रहे हैं हरीश खुराना।
I want to rebut on this. You remember, Padmaja, same script was being read at the time of the arrest of Satyendra Jain. बीजेपी घबरा गई है, हिमाचल के चुनाव हैं. The same script. What has happened now? Since last 4 months, on the order of the court, he's been jailed. Not by the order of ED or CBI. The same script has been repeated again. Why every time they hide behind the vendetta politics?
Dr. Sumansi Raman, vendetta politics.
Padmaja, there are a total of around 8 to 10 phrases. By using these phrases, anybody in this country can be arrested and thrown into jail. He was allegedly involved in conspiracy. He was allegedly involved in meetings in five-star hotels. And, you know, these things are meant to convey some illegality. What is the specific charge? Vijay Nair handed over X amount of money on this day at this time to this person. Or there was a bank transfer of so much was made from his account to the account of Manish Sisodia. Nothing is there.
Let me read to you the other part, because earlier we spoke about the formulation of the policy. There is another very specific...
What is the meaning of saying he was quote unquote involved in the formulation of the policy? What is it?
Sir, you said that there are no specifics about how much money was transferred. So here's what the FIR says. This is not me, this is the FIR. I'll quote to you.
Please.
Shri Arun Ramchandra Pillai used to collect undue pecuniary advantage from Shri Samir Mahendru, MD of Indospirit, for onward transmission to accused public servant. So here is Shri Samir Mahendru. He owns Indospirit. Hear me out. If you're asking a question, I'm just quoting to you. If you interrupt me, then you won't understand, neither will the viewer.
FIR does not say it anywhere.
The FIR says it. I'm quoting from the FIR.
Please read it.
No, I'm reading it. You're interrupting me. So let me read it. Let me read it. It's page number 4. I'll WhatsApp it to you also. Page number 4 says the following. Shri Samir Mahendru basically had to pay some money. It was collected from him from Arun Ramchandra Pillai. It was to be given to accused public servant through Shri Vijay Nair. A person named Arjun Pandey has once collected huge cash amount of 2 to 4 crores from Shri Samir Mahendru on behalf of Shri Vijay Nair. So here are the specifics which are put in the FIR, Dr. Sumansi Raman.
Padmaja, don't you find it ridiculous to even read this parody of an FIR? There is somebody intended to do something. They must produce evidence that something actually was done.
But I mean, why is it a parody of an FIR? You said the FIR has no specifics. I am giving you specifics of how they say the money flowed, of how much money was taken, which is 2 to 4 crores. That being said, this is an FIR. Yes, you are right, evidence will have to be produced. But evidence is never in an FIR.
They have not said how the money flowed. They are only saying money flowed. They are not saying how the money flowed, when the money flowed, where the money flowed. Nothing is there.
Okay, Vinay Singh.
Okay, I don't understand this.
Where is the bank draft number? Where is the check number through which this 2 to 4 crore rupees was given?
Padmaja.
Dr. Sumansi Raman wants details, exact details.
Padmaja, you know, Aam Aadmi Party was built on very high moral grounds. And what is the story what I have received, that this guy Vijay Nair was close to Manish, and Atisi also just mentioned that he was taking after some, you know, communication affairs of the party. But the same Vijay Nair, leave this excise thing aside. The same Vijay Nair was accused of sexual harassment. He was a Me Too accused. And I am just reading a story of Caravan. Quote unquote, Caravan alleged the man behind India's premier music festivals asked a woman to get into a bathtub with him.
Okay, sir, that is neither here nor there. Let's stick to the present case, please. The present case is of financial irregularities. Let's not go into an ancillary case because, to be honest, I do not know what happened to that case.
Tell him he's skating on very thin ice.
Yeah, so I do not know how that case ended. Let's stick to the present case, please.
No, what I am saying, that Aam Aadmi Party has become a self-certifying agency. They can certify anyone. They can certify a Me Too accused, they can certify a corrupt minister, they can certify even the Khalistan referendum supporters. They can do anything. They have become a self-certified agency. They can certify you bad, they can certify you good.
Dr. Sumansi Raman.
They have redefined morality.
I mean, clearly there is no evidence. That's why this man is not talking about
they have redefined morality.
Who paid Manish Sisodia? How much money did Vijay Nair receive on which day from whom? How was it communicated to Manish Sisodia? Nothing is there, Padmaja. So our sources tell us When somebody is on a video saying I paid 100 crores or I paid 50 crores, immediately somebody is arrested. I mean, this is becoming. Let me tell you, Padmaja, I'm now going to prepare a
morally corrupt.
generated FIR with these words.
He is the guy
about 10 phrases. You can put 10 phrases and create a generated FIR which can be used against virtually anyone in this country.
And your party is giving responsibility to such persons. Your party is not doing due diligence. Your party is not doing due diligence.
I'm collecting these phrases.
So here's the thing. While you are saying that here evidence needs to be produced and tomorrow it will be before the Rouse Avenue court whenever Mr. Nair is produced before them. That being said, the same argument was given, sir, as Harish Khurana has just said in the case of Satyendra Jain as well, that it is because of Himachal elections that he is being jailed. Now he has been denied bail also, point number one. Point number two, hold on a second, sir. Hold on a second, because I want to quickly draw your attention to something related that happened today in the morning. Same thing that Aam Aadmi Party did earlier. They said, oh, LG is going after us because LG himself is corrupt. What happened? Today in the afternoon, the High Court has said that the charges that the Aam Aadmi Party made against the Lieutenant Governor are quote-unquote completely unsubstantiated. On a prima facie view, the various statements, interviews, press conferences, tweets, retweets, hashtags are defamatory. They have been made in a reckless manner without verification in order to tarnish the reputation of the plaintiff. So every time there is any charge made of misdemeanor, the Aam Aadmi Party either says we are being victimized or goes on the offensive and says tum choro. Now they've been called out. In the case of Satyendra Jain, the court did not buy the argument of victimization. In the case of the Lieutenant Governor, they said the Aam Aadmi Party was per se defamatory and reckless.
Just because a man is in jail does not make him guilty. Just because he has not got bail does not mean he is guilty.
Well, obviously the court has found evidence, and I will read to you what the court said while denying bail to Mr. Jain, where the court did buy into the argument of evidence. Harish Khurana will respond to you.
Padmaja, please add on two more things. There are two MLAs has been convicted. Last week only, the same victimization politics was going on that time also. Convicted by the court, not by anybody else. And the same politics was happened at Ahmadullah also. That now he's become a bad character in law. He's become a bad character in law. So my take is, Aam Aadmi Party is always in a permanent denial mode, one, and always a victimization politics happen, two. There are two things which every time side by side goes on. One, victimization politics is going on with us. I'm sorry. The election is going on, point number one, and denial mode, like what my fellow panelists is right now on.
Now, before I bring in Professor D.K. Giri, Dr. Sumansi Raman has been saying throughout what is the route that the money has taken. Now, the Bharatiya Janata Party over the last 1.5 months has put out two sting operations which they say were on public platform. Let's listen to the second one of these sting operations which was done, where actually how the money is exchanged was spoken of. Listen.
तो दिल्ली का जो था ये ब्रांड को अमनदीप डाला है, उसके बाद आपका ये दीवान स्पिरिट वाला, इंडो स्पिरिट, महादेव वाले पैसे तो तुमने क्या बताया था, आप बताए थे कि दे रहे हैं।
देखो जी, पैसा है। इंडो स्पिरिट वाला तो 100 करोड़ रुपए एडवांस देके बैठे थे। वो तो कहते थे 100 रुपए की ज्वाइनिंग की है, 100 रुपए की ज्वाइनिंग की है, ठीक है। वो तो सबको ही बोलते थे कि जी, क्योंकि सबसे बड़ा धंधा उसी के पास था। अब 100 रुपए की ज्वाइनिंग में भी एक ये भी ब्लैक और व्हाइट करने का धंधा है। भाई आप 100 रुपए आज किसी को एडवांस में दे दो, कैश आपको, मैं मेरे घर में कैश पड़ा, मैंने किसी को 100 रुपए एडवांस में दे दिया, अब वापस आने मेरे पास सारे व्हाइट में। ये तो कैश व्हाइट टू ब्लैक की कन्वर्जन भी होगी, जो कैश दे रहा है, क्योंकि अगर मेरे पास कैश पड़ा, मैंने आपको एडवांस दे दिया, अब आप मेरे को व्हाइट में वापस आता रहेगा। फिक्स धंधा, फिक्स मार्जिन दे दिया।
तो अमन तो पंजाब में ही अभी
अमन ढल और एक अनंत वाइन्स, दो आदमियों को 10,000 करोड़ रुपए का धंधा दो आदमी को दे दिया। कैसे दे दिया जी? आप मेरे को बताओ, हरियाणा के अंदर पॉलिसी है, एक शहर में 6 एडवांस होते हैं। कंपटीशन क्या करता है? अगर एक दुकानदार ने या एक कस्टमर ने खरीदनी है, 6 दुकानें हैं, तो उसको तो फायदा ही मिलेगा ना। क्यों दी दो आदमियों को? मतलब कोई रीजन तो बताओ।
बनाया कितना होगा?
अरे आप पैसा तो, मतलब मैं बता रहा हूँ, अगर कोई बंदा ड्रग्स भी बेचे तो भी इतने पैसे बना सकता। 10 करोड़ रुपए भी लगाए होंगे और 150 करोड़ रुपए कमाए हैं अभी तक। और ये सारा सिर्फ ये पैसा कमाने का तरीका नहीं था, ये एक और तरीका था। क्या किया? 100 करोड़ रुपए एडवांस दे दिए कैश में, इन्होंने 100 करोड़ रुपए अपने इलेक्शन में लगा दिए। कहीं भी हरियाणा पंजाब में इलेक्शन में लगा दिए, गोवा में लगा दिए, लेकिन अब जब वो पैसा वापस आ रहा है, पहली पॉलिसी है जिसके अंदर इन्होंने लिख दिया कि इस पैसे को आपको 12% देना ही पड़ेगा.
Okay, Professor D.K. Giri. So earlier there are the charges which are made in the FIR, and then subsequently the party releases a video saying here is Amit Arora, here he is, accused number 9 in the FIR. Not some Tom, Dick and Harry. Here is accused number 9 in the same FIR, where you also have Mr. Vijay Nair as accused number 5 and Manish Sisodia as accused number 1. Accused number 9 बता रहे हैं कि कैसे 100 करोड़ रुपया दिया गया and basically how the लेन-देन happened. Professor D.K. Giri.
Okay, right. Padmaja, this case from the beginning is a litany of attributions and assumptions. You know, I am not a lawyer, but I know this, anybody knows from common sense that the court operate on the basis of evidence. Not a shred of evidence has been produced. And what a vacuous and childish statement made by the BJP spokesperson when you started the debate. He said if CBI has found something, why should they show it to Aam Aadmi Party? They should give it to the court. What happened in Calcutta? The money that was found was shown to the entire world. The CBI had found something, they will display it, they will show it, this is the evidence. And he is saying that they will show it only in the court. And let me also tell you, court is not the gospel truth. We all respect courts, independent judiciary, but court also has gone back on its own decisions. They told one person has created a storm in our country. The same person after a month was exonerated of everything.
But how lovely, you just done a preemptive strike on the court also, because just in case the court was not to live up to your expectations tomorrow, Professor D.K. Giri, you have already discounted the court and said, agar chit hua to hum khush, agar pat hua to hum kahenge, court is also not gospel. Who is gospel? You? I mean... Padmaja,
Padmaja, as a student of politics, I am making a comment. I am not preemptive anything. I am a small person, only a common citizen. I am only saying that this is what happens in the court. I cannot.
No, but on a more serious note, see, here for the common person, Harish Khurana, here is the battle of perception. When Arpita Mukherjee and Partha Chatterjee are raided, the ED has got this big pile of cash, which is, displayed and said, look, 5 crores, 10 crores, 50 crores, sona, pen, falan, dhima, sab kuch mil gaya hame unke ghar se. Now you raided Manish Sisodia. You went to Vijay Nair's house. Something you must have found. Somebody would have seen the pictures. What was found?
See,
nothing is there in public domain. Everything else happens in public domain. You know, the teachers recruitment scam, Sharda scam, everything you see recoveries in public domain.
Padmaja, who has given a certificate of honesty? Yes. Manish Sisodia, Mr. Giri, I am talking. Your name is Harish Khurana? I'm sorry. Padmaja, problem is, these all people are giving a certificate of honesty. My name is D.K. Giri. Yeah.
Okay, go on, Mr. Giri. Just a second, let him finish. Yes.
Who is giving a certificate of honesty?
This is complete. Of course.
Who is giving of honesty to everybody? Aam Aadmi Party himself. Manish Sisodia came out in politics, in public. They have found nothing. They found nothing. So I am honest. Who has asked you to give the certificate to himself? Let the court decide, what has found and what has not been found. The report will be filed in the court. Let the court decide it. Why in you guys are in so much hurry, like Mr. Giri or everybody, every fellow panelist, of giving a certificate of honesty?
Harish, with all respect, one thing. Now, my name is Akash Diguni. Let me speak out. Now, one thing, first of all, I was so appalled by listening that about victimization of politics. I remember the first person or the most important person who has talked about victimization in politics was our present Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. When he was the Chief Minister, he talked about how CBI is the caged parrot and how he talked about how his fellow politicians were victimized by CBI then under the Congress rule. First. Second thing, my fellow panelist was talking about how sting operations have to be taken into consideration because Aam Aadmi Party was so jubilant about sting operations. My dear friend, sting operations have to be taken into consideration. But any Tom, Dick and Harry talking about anything under the sun, just imagine in these sting operations, no politicians have been named these people are themselves accused. Obviously, they will be speaking anything and everything. So that cannot be taken into consideration as per law. So I don't think that whatever the sting operation has been shown has any metal to it as judged by many people.
But Mr.
Many
Muni, with due respect, that is literally the point of a sting operation where the accused himself implicates himself or herself on camera, which is why, for example, Bangaru Lakshman, he was stung and that is why the entire scam happened. You won't have like a third person talking about a scam, right? Here, accused number 9 is himself talking about it and saying, "Aise maine kiya scam." Now, why would you believe some random Mr. X saying कि देखो दिल्ली में scam हो गया? Accused ही बताएगा ना उसने scam कैसे किया?
No, definitely, I agree with you. Bangaru Lakshman was a politician and he was a person. But
these people are also persons.
Who are the accused? Who are they? What is their credibility? When they speak out, what is their credibility? Has their credibility been justified? And has they named anybody?
Well, the same credibility, if you can call it that Bangaru Lakshman or Babu Bajrangi had, and we know where the sting operation and all of these gentlemen and what happened to the cases. Anyhow, this is just the beginning. It's a very big development. Tomorrow is going to be an important day because Vijay Nair is going to be produced before the Rouse Avenue court. The Aam Aadmi Party has made it clear that they are going to stand by him. They are calling it a witch hunt. They are calling it aimed for the Gujarat elections, trying to implicate Manish Sisodia. The evidence will have to be solid. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, in the meantime, for joining me. We'll keep a close eye on this story. In Iran, 22-year-old Mahsa Amini was thrashed and killed by the hijab police only because her hijab was not worn properly. A little bit of her hair was showing. In India, 23-year-old Rupali had her throat cut for refusing to wear a burqa. Clearly, Rupali and Mahsa both didn't have a choice. Rupali was murdered by her husband of 3 years, Iqbal Sheikh. The family members of the victim say that Iqbal used to thrash Rupali repeatedly for her defiance. Yesterday, after a heated argument, he dragged Rupali out and stabbed her, eventually murdering her. She paid for her life for exercising her right to choose. Times Now went to Chembur and spoke to eyewitnesses and her family.
मैंने देखी कि बॉडी में ऐसे ही पड़ी थी एकदम जैसा मैं नजदीक जाके देखी तो बॉडी एकदम अलग ही मतलब पोजीशन में थी ऐसा फैला पैर पूरा ऐसा था और ऐसी वो पड़ी थी पूरा चेहरा ऐसा और जीभ बाहर थी और खून था और गले में ऐसा दुपट्टा लपटा हुआ था।
मुंबई के चेंबूर इलाके में जिस 20 वर्ष की युवती की हत्या हुई है उसी स्पॉट पर फिलहाल हम मौजूद हैं। आपको तस्वीरों के जरिए बता दें कि ये एक छोटी सी गली आप देख पा रहे हैं और इसमें ये वो खून के धब्बे हैं जो कि आपको इस एक्सक्लूसिव ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट में हम दिखा रहे हैं। साफ तौर पर आपको बता दें कि सामने वाली गली से नवरात्रि के चलते देवी की मूर्ति पास हो रही थी जहां पे ढोल ताशे बज रहे थे और उसी बीच में एक लड़की जो अपनी जान बचाने के लिए फिलहाल दौड़ रही थी इसी गली में उसकी मौत होती है जिसको गला रेंद कर उसकी हत्या कर दी जाती है और इस निर्मम हत्या को कोई और नहीं बल्कि उसी युवती का जो पति है वो अंजाम देता है। क्या देखा आपने? लड़की की जो लाश थी वो किस अवस्था में थी?
गिरी पड़ी थी यहाँ पे, उसका खून उसका ब्लड वगैरह पूरा पड़ा हुआ था। हाँ,
साफ तौर पर ये गवाही दे रहे हैं कि इन्हीं नालों से जो है वो खून के धब्बे बहते हुए आगे बढ़े हैं। हालांकि पुलिस अभी भी जांच कर रही है कि वाकई में वजह क्या है।
Now here's the thing, her family is very clear that Rupali wanted to live her life in a certain way. When she got married, she knew that her conditions were very clear. For everyone who still keeps talking about hijab, burqa being a choice, clearly it's only a choice until you say no.
परिवार क्या क्या मांग करता था उनसे
कि मतलब हमारे कास्ट में ये तो हमारे कास्ट है, बोल मराठी मत बोल, हिंदी बोल ये सब बोल, हमारे जात का बुर्का पहन, ऐसा रहे वैसा रहे, बहुत टॉर्चर करते थे।
एक चीज ये कि आपने भी बताया कि मुसलमान कल्चर फॉलो करने के लिए परिवार उनके ऊपर दबाव डालता था। आपकी बहन बिल्कुल फॉलो नहीं करती थी?
नहीं करती थी। कैसे करेगी मैम? हमारे कास्ट की, वो अलग कास्ट का कैसा होगा? आज मेरी बहन के साथ हुआ, कल कोई और बहन के साथ होएगा। बस आप सब मेरे बहन के लिए इंसाफ दो। ये बच्चे का मुंह देख के इसका इंसाफ करो।
परिवार क्या कह रहे हैं? आपके माता पिता?
मेरे माता पिता भी वही कह रहे हैं। अभी मेरी बेटी नहीं रही ना तो वो भी नहीं रहना चाहिए।
देवी आ रहा था तो आगे मतलब ढोल की वजह से आते रहेंगे, बच्चा भी है तो आ रहे थे ना आगे, तो शायद से उसने फोन पे बात कर रही थी लगता, तो लेके बुला के पहले ही शायद चक्कू भी खुली आ रहेगा, बाद में तो लेके नहीं आएगा। ये चॉकलेट दिलाते 5 मिनट ही हुआ और कब कैसा हो गया वो मालूम है। मैं पीछे गली में डांडिया खेल रही थी।
So what is the difference between Mehsa and what happened in Mumbai? Are their conditions very, very different because one is a totalitarian state and the other is a democracy? Is what is imposed in Iran becomes choice in Mumbai? Let's find out to a voice from Iran.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
In the vexed question of does a woman really have a choice with relation to a hijab, it's always the women who are speaking out the strongest and the loudest. We have with us right now activist Mariam Memarsadeghi. Thank you very much, ma'am, for speaking to us. When you see what's happening in Iran right now, more than 50 women have been killed for standing up. What do you think is the end game? Will there be a regime change, or will these women, also brave as they are, largely be forgotten after a while?
The end game, the goal is most definitely regime change. This is a revolution for a democratic Iran that honors equality for women and men, religious minorities, everyone in society. And women are most definitely leading the revolution. It's the result of 4 decades of trying different things and realizing, particularly in the last 10 years, realizing that this is not a regime that can be reformed. It is a totalitarian regime incapable of correcting itself. It's structurally incapable of allowing change towards democratic openings. And in the last few years especially, people have suffered so very much. The country is at a boiling point, and human rights aside, there are so many other ways in which the Iranian people simply can't survive. They don't have access to water, to clean air, to an economic livelihood, to a decent education system. Everything is crumbling.
What do you make of those who think that hijab is a choice? Is it a choice, or is this indoctrination?
Most definitely in Iran, it's not a choice. It's a totalitarian regime that requires girls, when they go to kindergarten or first grade, to wear the hijab. Any woman, whatever her age, whatever her religion even, must wear the hijab. So in Iran, obviously it's not a choice. Now, in India, it's quite a different situation in that you have a democracy. And at least the government of India is not pressing for hijab or against hijab. However, I know that you have the court case and the battles over that, and whether a girl in India should go to school wearing her hijab or not. In my opinion, it's not a choice if it's something that the parents have imposed. Children should not be wearing hijab until they're 18, because it's only then that they can choose what their faith is.
In principle, other than, we quibble about the case that's happening in India, it's only about the issue of whether you can wear it into the classroom. In principle, in 21st century, should there not be a consensus on how certain pieces of clothing cannot be passed off as okay? In the end, it is about keeping women behind a curtain.
Absolutely. This is certainly how I see it. I think that 100 years from now, there's no chance that anyone who's rational and balanced in thought can think that the hijab was anything other than a visual symbol of keeping women back. So we have to wage this battle by talking. India has the great fortune of being a democracy with free speech, a free press, an independent judiciary. Iran has none of that. And you see the women, each and every single girl, woman on the streets in Iran taking off her hijab is risking death or torture.
Especially with respect to, a lot of these issues get caught up in political correctness. So when you spoke of how, little girls, when they wear a hijab, do they really have a choice? But we pretend that it is a choice. Is that political correctness a disservice to women who are paying a heavy price to throw off their hijab?
It is exactly so well put. The thing is, we have another tenet of human rights, which is religious freedom, and that is being abused, in my opinion, to argue for hijab. Religious freedom should not mean that you subject your daughter from a young age to being constricted, to being denied opportunities and freedoms that other girls have. And you know, it's not just the hijab. And when a girl is forced to wear hijab, very likely she's also prevented from going out and socializing like others might. She's prevented from swimming. She's prevented from partaking in leadership positions. It's, you know, the progressives like to portray women wearing hijab as strong and very on the forefront of change. This is propaganda from these Islamists, and it's very unfortunate that in the West, perhaps in India too, people who consider themselves to be supporters of human rights are actually enabling an Islamic discourse that is designed from its inception to hold women back.
Could you elaborate on that? How would such people be enablers?
Well, for example, in the United States, we have members of Congress who will wear the hijab. They will wear the hijab. They'll talk about how it's empowering, how it's their choice, how they are strong women. But now, when women on the streets of Iran are dying, giving their lives so that other women, so that the entire Iranian nation, and really by extension so many other nations, can be free of forced hijab, those women in Congress who call themselves strong women and feminists don't say a word about the women in Iran. It's very telling.
Why do you think that is? Because the distinction is also made, saying that in the United States, it's a democracy. So there it's a choice. Because Iran is an Islamic state, because it's a totalitarian regime, there it is an imposition.
In my opinion, hijab is never something that is beautiful. It is never something that empowers a woman. But I am willing to accept that if a woman feels for herself that it empowers her, fine, go ahead. But then when people are being killed for not wearing it, you should speak up, because you are defending your choice under the rubric of choice. So when someone else is denied choice, shouldn't you be the first in line to criticize an Islamist regime? Unfortunately, we have the opposite. And, you know, somebody like Ilhan Omar in the United States Congress is respected by progressives, by people on the left, although I'm not sure if they really respect her or if they're doing a lot of self-censorship. But anyway, she's given a lot of leeway because this headscarf has become a symbol of being forward, avant-garde, and progressive in the United States. What more could Islamists want?
So you have a lovely little, lovely little clique which is projecting this as a choice to the Western world, but as an Iranian woman, as a voice for Iranian women, what would you like to say to these so-called progressives?
I would like to say that the people of Iran right now, women and men standing very strong behind them, are waging a battle for the most basic of rights. They want a democracy. They want fundamental, universal human rights for themselves. And if they are free, when they are free, the entire Middle East region will have security, will have peace, will have a chance for economies that reward merit, that are not corrupt and controlled by an Islamist mafia state from Tehran. People need to wake up. People in democracies need to wake up and realize what a historic opportunity this is for an entirely different world order. The entire planet is going to be more secure when a gender apartheid regime is gone.
Well, you can either be on the side of what's right, what the women need, or you can be on the side of political correctness. Thank you very much, Mariam Memardegi, for speaking to us.
Thank you so much.
The The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
When journalism is led by integrity and when experience meets passion, there is no scope for half-truths. When the noise drowns out the truth and many lose sight of what is the real issue.
I ask the legitimate question and uncover the whole truth.
Don't tax the poor people who are using petrol, diesel to go to work or to send their children to school.
I give you the complete picture in black and white, not a colored opinion, facts that help you form your opinion.
The News Hour at 9. Weeknights at 9, only on Times Now.
Can we have your attention please? क्या आप दिन की सही शुरुआत ढूंढ रहे हैं? I believe in an action-packed, fast-paced and an agenda-setting start to the day. सिर्फ खबर दिखाना नहीं, असर होना भी जरूरी है. I am Richa Sharma. I am Amita Wadhwa. I am Pratibha. I am Swati Joshi, and you're watching the Morning News Hour.
Viewer at 10.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Gujarat on September 29 to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of various development projects worth around 29,000 crore rupees. Home Minister Amit Shah is on a two-day visit to Gujarat. He laid the foundation stone of a 750-bed hospital in Gandhinagar in presence of Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel. In a big relief for Eknath Shinde faction, Supreme Court has set aside stay on proceedings before the Election Commission of India. This in the case of real Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut's bail hearing has been adjourned till October 10th. This in his alleged role in financial irregularities in the Patra Chaul scam. Calcutta High Court directed TMC MLA Manik Bhattacharya to appear before CBI in connection with SSC probe. He has been examined by the Enforcement Directorate twice in the past.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
When journalism is led by integrity and when experience meets passion, there is no scope for half-truths. When the noise drowns out the truth and many lose sight of what is the real issue.
I ask the legitimate question and uncover the whole truth.
Don't tax the poor people who are using petrol, diesel to go to work or to send their children to school.
I give you the complete picture in black and white, not a colored opinion, facts that help you form your opinion.
The News Hour at 9. Weeknights at 9, only on Times Now.
Can we have your attention please? क्या आप दिन की सही शुरुआत ढूंढ रहे हैं? I believe in an action-packed, fast-paced and an agenda-setting start.
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
Supreme Court for the first time in history started live streaming of its proceedings of 3 separate constitutional benches. The streaming was live on NIC's YouTube channel. In a massive setback for Aam Aadmi Party, Delhi High Court issues injunction order in favour of LG VK Saxena in Delhi defamation case, defamatory tweets to be taken down. Taking a swipe at Aam Aadmi Party, Delhi LG VK Saxena tweeted Satyamev Jayate after the Delhi High Court passed an interim injunction in favour of the LG in a civil defamation suit. JP Nadda, after returning from his tour from Kerala, has convened a series of meetings throughout the day to review the progress of the Lok Sabha Yatra of various BJP leaders. Former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti tweeted in solidarity with vendors protesting against stopping of fruit-loaded trucks in Jammu and Kashmir, said if roads don't open, she will sit on the protest too.
When journalism is led by integrity and when experience meets passion, there is no scope for half-truths. When the noise drowns out the truth and many lose sight of what is the real issue.
I ask the legitimate question and uncover the whole truth.
Don't tax the poor people who are using petrol, diesel to go to work or to send their children to school.
I give you the complete picture in black and white, not a colored opinion, facts that help you form your opinion.
The Newshour at 9. Weeknights at 9. Only on Times Now.
Can we have your attention, please? क्या आप दिन की सही शुरुआत ढूंढ रहे हैं? I believe in an action-packed, fast-paced and an agenda-setting start to the day. सिर्फ खबर दिखाना नहीं, असर होना भी जरूरी है. I am Richa Sharma. I am Amita Vadva. I am Pratibha. I am Swati Joshi, and you're watching the Morning News Hour.
Viewers, I have a point of view, and I'm not afraid to look you in the eye when I express it. This is because I know that it's based on an honest, hard fact. A hard fact is uncompromised, just like me. On India Upfront, get the power of the hard facts. Remember, every good argument is based on hard facts. It's just as simple as that.
Aren't you sick of the same old news debates? We get it. We know you want people to talk to you, not talk at you. So we built a space for people like you. A place where your agenda becomes my agenda. Where we keep our eyes and ears open to issues that really matter. But we're all about calmly laying out the information, no unnecessary aggression, no bluff. Filtering out the trash to bring you the truth that isn't partisan and pulls no punches. No WhatsApp gyan, no diktats, just unvarnished facts that you know are honest. Watch Newshour Agenda with me, Padmaja Joshi, weeknights at 10 p.m. only on Times Now.
Whenever news breaks, you will see us. Process it, analyze it, and broadcast it. After the spot reporters, we are the first responders. We are at the front line
of every news event.
We are situation analysts, raw, live, and unedited. Pure news, pure passion.
Times Now. Action begins here.
You cannot have a memorial of any sort to terror on Indian land. If you have a memorial, I'm not talking about a grave. That memorial needs to go, and let anyone come and take me to court for this.
प्रॉब्लम है हम हिंदुस्तानी इकट्ठे नहीं हो जाते हैं. हम होते हैं हम बीजेपी, हम सपा, हम कांग्रेस, और वहीं कलेश पड़ जाता है. So I just want to say, we Indians.
Why should they get some random curriculum? ना टीचर ट्रेंड है, कोई भी आदमी आके पढ़ा रहा है, कोई 2 महीने के लिए पढ़ रहा है, कोई 6 महीने के लिए पढ़ रहा है. Why? They should have education like you and I.
She asks tough questions like no other journalist.
जब आप मुख्यमंत्री थे तो आपने क्या?
What is your interview for?
My interview is for asking about Kashmir.
I'm not ready to give her interview.
क्या इस देश में मुसलमान टारगेट पर है?
She takes on the masters of Indian politics like no one else can because she speaks for you the way no one else can.
गुलाम नबी आजाद होने में इतना समय क्यों लग गया? लोग कहते हैं कि देश में बीजेपी ने ऐसा माहौल बना दिया है कि सब जगह हिंदू मुस्लिम हो रहा. लोग कहते हैं कि आपकी फिल्म की वजह से वहाँ कश्मीरी हिंदुओं को टेररिस्ट नाम बुला कर अब मार रहे हैं.
Because your voice must be heard, your questions answered above all else. Frankly speaking, with Navika Kumar.
Prime time isn't just about debates.
It's about knowing the news.
We give you facts.
With context and without bias.
The long
and short
of what made the headlines.
Factual and forthright on News Now overnight.
When journalism is led by integrity and when experience meets passion,